welcome to Eclipse Live. Wow, you got a bright future today in a few minutes.
Yes, it's so bright. I've got to wear my certified eclipse glasses. Gina, I'm so excited today for two reasons. I'm excited about our show. We're going to be here with you all for the next 4 or so hours as the eclipse passes overhead us and as it passes over the rest of the country. We're going to be checking in with scouts live from across the country. I'm excited on a personal level, Gina. As you know,
I know.
This means a lot to me today. I'm excited about the eclipse.
Aaron very graciously agreed to help host today, and
even though I have something better to do, like look at the eclipse.
He's constantly been asking, well, like, am I going to be able to get up and go look at it? Whatever. We're all very excited. Aaron's going to let you know how he knows his eclipse glasses are certified a little later in the show. In just a few minutes, we're going to be talking about how to make your own indirect eclipse viewer. We've got a solar eclipse safety coming up at 1 p.m. Central. All these times are 1 p.m. Central. We're going to talk about eclipse snacks, solar eclipse science with an astronomer. We're going to talk to a real live astronaut. Eclipses in pop culture and history coming up, birds and animals, nature during the eclipses. We're talking about that. Plus, what I'm most excited about, we're checking in with scouts all along the path of totality to see how they're preparing, what it's like viewing the eclipse, and what it was like after the eclipse. Also got to say, we're going to be walking you through all the requirements to earn the emblem. We'll be giving a few of those away as well today. So stay tuned, stay with us. It's going to be a long show, a fun show, and I just want to reward our commenters right off the bat. Roy Kasang.
We've got prizes to give away like right now.
Yeah, Roy Kasang, you're taking a t-shirt, and I'm using my magic comment picker. Mary Madalich, you will be getting an emblem. Okay, well, Mary, let us know. Mary, I'm writing your name down, and let me show you guys. So you're Roy, you're gonna get a shirt that looks like this. It glows in the dark. We're really hoping that it performs when it gets fully dark here. We are in the path of totality. We'll see if it glows. You can see a representation of that here. And then we've also got an eclipse emblem. You might call it a patch, but it's an emblem that we're giving away as well. And that is going to Mary Madalich. Thank you for watching, Mary.
Thank you for pronouncing her name correctly, Gina.
Okay,
yeah. If you guys are interested in earning that emblem yourselves, if you watch our show today, you'll basically do everything you need to do to earn that emblem. As a reminder, it's not like an official merit badge or anything like that. It's very loose, relaxed, fun thing you can do. You don't have to be a scout to do it. If you're watching, you're like, well, I'm not a scout. I can't. Not true. You can do this today.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Y'all, we'll be live for 4 hours today. That's significant because this has been dubbed the Great North American Eclipse. And those 4 hours represent the 4 hours that this eclipse will be passing overhead in North America. It doesn't stop after North America. So if you're still in the path of totality elsewhere, let us know.
Nor does it begin in North America, Gina. Probably worth mentioning. It goes through Mexico.
Yeah, where does it begin?
Parts of Mexico are seeing it.
That is North America.
Pretty quick. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I meant United States. You're right. Thank you. It does begin. I think the first piece of land it goes over is, you're right. I was thinking United States. It goes over Mexico before entering the United States in Southwest Texas, where we will chat with some scouts here shortly to see what they're seeing. Coming to you live from North Texas right now. Slightly overcast skies. The sun is kind of peeking in and out of the clouds.
Yes.
It hasn't gotten darker yet. That will probably happen in the next hour or so. It's a very pleasant day.
It's pleasant for us because we're getting to sit in the shade right now. I think that warm sun's going to break through the clouds. But then, like, how's it going to, the temperature's going to drop a tiny bit, I think, when the actual eclipse is here. We have been doing some technical checks with our scouts around the country that we'll be going live with throughout the day. And it's funny to see some places are cloudy, some places are super sunny. That's just the way it goes. Also just wanted to pull up our schedule one more time so you guys know what's coming in the next, legitimately 4 hours. In just a minute, right off camera, we've got a great friend of the show who's going to show us. He's sitting right there. Who's going to show us how to make a solar eclipse viewer in the indirect method. So, like, maybe somehow you didn't know there was going to be an eclipse today, right?
If you didn't know, it's not too late.
Yeah, and it's not too late. You probably have the items at home that you need to make an indirect viewer, which is honestly the way I like looking at the eclipse. We'll talk about the
Nothing wrong with looking at the eclipse through the indirect viewer.
Oh, and pulling up that. Oh, hold, please hold. Pulling up that schedule again. We're pulling it up. We're pulling it up
as we speak. Okay. There we go.
At 1 o'clock Central, we'll be doing solar eclipse safety, where we tell you a few of the ways that it is okay to safely view the eclipse. And then at 1:15, we're really lucky to have a Weebloth who has been on MasterChef Junior, who is showing us how to make a solar eclipse snack. Emerson Pauly is his name. Big shout out to him.
He's great. He's very cool. Yep.
Really fun snack. So get ready for that. Then we're going to talk solar eclipse science with an astronomer. Pretty cool astronomer you got to interview.
Yes, great guy. A guy who learned his love of the night sky. You want to guess? As a scout, when he was a scout as a kid, he remembers camping. He was fascinated with the night sky. He, because of that, at least partially, dedicated his career to being an astronomer. Gina, he's also an extremely talented illustrator. It's really not fair that he's that smart with sky stuff, and also incredibly creative and cool. These illustrations, we're going to look at some of those later too.
Yeah, those half the park is after dark posters.
You might have seen some of those without even realizing it. Exactly.
Yes, and back to that schedule. I want to make sure we finish recapping
it's going to come
it
up
for
one more
you.
time. There it is.
Okay, we're going to talk.
We're testing behind the scenes, Brian, early here to keeping him honest.
We are going to talk to an astronaut, another person that Aaron has gotten to meet. We'll keep that a surprise.
Oh, sorry. No, I don't keep it a surprise. I'm not going to say anything else.
We're talking about eclipses in pop culture. We're talking how do birds and animals react. We're talking with different scouts around the country as they are viewing the eclipse. We're also going to be sharing some of your work as you explained what is an eclipse, what does it look like, what does it mean, and some other things that are like way more sciencey than even I can comprehend. But I'm hoping to understand them better by the end of today. Plus, we've got giveaways, trivia, and of course, lots of live check-ins across the U.S. If you want to join the conversation today, comment along with today's show. That's how you're entering for a chance to win. And also use hashtag Scout the Eclipse. I think we're going to be able to show, Twitter X mentions of hashtag Scout the Eclipse and Instagram mentions, which is really where we'd love to see it, so we can see your photos as we go live. What are we missing? We've got a lot of viewers. Tag people so we can get even more.
Yes, tag people, tag a friend who might be interested. We're so happy to have you with us today. It's an exciting day for us. We are super excited to be here with you. I think we've mentioned everything we need to mention. I do want to say shout out to scouts across the country who may be preparing to watch the eclipse wherever you are. We're going to check in with a few of those groups at scout campouts. A lot of scouts councils had really cool ideas of hosting a weekend-long campout as normal. How cool if the eclipse is on a Monday, they just extend it for one extra day. A lot of schools are out. My son's home from school today. So a lot of people were able to extend that 2-day camp out into a 3-day camp out and hang out on Monday. What better place to watch the eclipse than a scout property?
Absolutely.
Gina, I can tell you right now, again, reporting live from the North Texas area. No signs yet. It's just the sun so far. Nothing's happening yet.
Yes, so Aaron is using his Eclipse viewer glasses. We'll talk about how to make sure yours are safe. We're going to talk about how to make an indirect viewer here in a second. And I also want to point out we have a really cool shot of the sun here in North Texas that we're going to be showing you throughout today's broadcast. This is really right here at the Boy Scouts at the BSA. Yeah,
that's a view from an actual camera. That's maybe 30 or so feet that way. Our professional photographer, shout out to Michael who hooked up his system in some fancy way that I'm not even sure how it works. You can see there's a little bit of cloud cover going over DFW right now. It's been off and on like this for most of the morning. It actually just kind of got a little cloudier, I think, when we started the show. The good news is we have another couple of hours. And as you can tell,
that's a good view.
The view that you're seeing, and this is interesting, Gina, the view that you're seeing from Michael's lens right here, pretty similar to the view that you get from your eclipse glasses. The color is a little bit different. My eclipse glasses looks a little more orangey, a little more.
Now, you're not supposed to just stare at the sun with those for a long time, so save your eyes a little bit.
I will do that, Gina. Yes, you're never supposed to stare at the sun ever, but it becomes an issue around eclipse time. People think, oh, I definitely want to see the eclipse. That's a no-no. Never do that.
Right. Even with the eclipse glasses, we'll get into it, but you're not supposed to just stare up there for minutes and minutes and minutes. You take a glance, give your eyes a break. We don't always do this, but I want to make sure we do before we launch into something you are not going to want to miss. But I want to give a shout out to all the people who helped make this broadcast happen. We got hooked up with our IT department who's run Ethernet out here to make this possible. Thank you all so much. We've got a big thanks to the multimedia team, Peter and Michael, who are making everything run smoothly, making sure we get this shot of the sun. And the man who never gets enough credit behind the scenes, Brian. He's always behind the scenes and making this stuff happen, making all the graphics, connecting everybody.
And maybe I'll just add real quick, the young woman that doesn't get enough credit, this young lady right here did a lot of work putting this together, guy. Gina, I'm honored here to be with you. Thank you for all your work in advance. Gina and I, you guys might know, host a little dinky Tuesday afternoon show. Those are pretty easy. Me and Gina and Brian. This is a much more complex production. We've got a lot of folks who are helping us out, including the person sitting just a few feet from me right here.
well, I can't wait to get there. Obviously, thanks to Aaron, I gave him a hard time, but he makes all of this happen. We get to be on camera. We get to do all the fun stuff. So, thanks for letting us do this. Thanks you all for tuning in.
Thanks, Christine. Appreciate that. It's a very nice comment.
Thank you. Yeah, yes. Keep those comments coming,
yes.
Christine. Keep complimenting us, because
yes.
every time you compliment us in the comments, you're entering for a chance to win.
Compliments, I think, are double entered. I think they should be. If you say something nice about Gina or me, you should get entered twice.
Or anybody. If
or anybody. The Scout is kind.
Yeah. Or if you tag somebody in the comments.
There you go. Yes, that's probably better.
Okay, that's enough of us talking. I think we should.
We got to talk for the next 3 hours and 50 minutes. It's time to let someone else talk for a few seconds. Yeah. So again, this is live. This is going to be we're going to live tilt our camera. Do you want me to switch? Do you want me to stand up? So
no.
Nope, we're going this way.
I just got confused by the mirror.
Who is this person that's with me now? This is Eric. Everybody introduce yourself, Eric.
Hello, everybody. My name is Eric. I am the design director for Scout Life magazine, and I am happy to be here today with Gina and Aaron to show you how to make an indirect solar eclipse viewer so that you will save your eyes.
Eric and I are similar age. We'll just leave it at that. We're close to the same age. We grew up in the same era. And correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, when you were younger, I don't remember these things existing. There was an eclipse in Dallas in the 70s, late 70s, and the only thing we had to look at it with was the indirect viewer, which you're about to show us. Basically, the same method applies here. I'm not going to say how many years later it is. It's a few years later, but yes, exactly. But you want to bring your table over here in front of us if we have room here. As a reminder, as Eric gets set up here, never look directly at the sun. Folks, you're going to be tempted to look up at the sun off and on all day today. Don't do it. Make sure you have a pair of glasses like this, or you can do it in the way that Eric's about to show us, which is called an indirect method. Do you need me to go over, Eric?
Why don't you help Eric scoot back a little bit too?
Okay.
I think it'll fix it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
I think he's good. I think he's good.
At the point that you need a pen, I've got one here for you.
Yes.
Or pencil. But
Okay.
I got a pen.
Eric,
well.
so maybe first, Eric, go over what kind of supplies do you have here?
All right. So today we're going to be using a cereal box, empty one, of course. Cereal's all out of it. A piece of tin
Important
foil.
tip: you don't want to waste the cereal, folks. Okay, use an empty box.
That's right. A piece of tin foil, some scissors, a blank piece of paper, and some tape, just regular cellophane tape, and I have a push pin here. You can use a safety pin, a needle, anything that has a
Paper clip if you're at work.
A paper clip, yep. Anything with a point on it like this. All right.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, you could use a different kind of box. You could use a shoe box or something like that, right? If you don't have an extra cereal box around, grab a shoe box or something like that. Any kind of package box would work.
We thought that a lot of people might have a cereal box versus a shoe box, right? Less common. However, if you go to scoutlife.org, you'll find videos with instructions on how to make both of those. So if you don't have the materials with you right now while you're watching, just sit back and watch, and I'll show you how to do it. And then if you need to, go collect your materials, and you can go on to scoutlife.org and find the video to follow along there.
Can I say why I like I know I'm just a voice with no head on screen, but I'm here still. I really, after we did the tutorial on how to make the shoebox viewer a few years ago, now we've done the tutorial on how to make the cereal box. They both have their pros and cons. The shoebox viewer is like pretty substantial. You can decorate it and all that jazz. We'll show you the video on how to create that in a little bit. But I think I got to give a vote to the cereal box. It's easy. It's really easy. And Cub Scouts can do this. They can use their blunt scissors as opposed to having to use a crafting knife like you need to use with a shoebox. So I think it's just a nice entry level viewer.
I feel like the shoebox is maybe a little thinner. Yeah. I'm sorry, the cereal box is a little bit thinner, therefore easy to manipulate a little bit, I think.
Yes. I will say with the shoebox, because you can take the lid off of it, it's easier to put the paper on the inside than it is with the cereal box. But use what you have. And if you don't have a cereal box or a shoe box at home, you might go into the kitchen and find a colander, and you can also take that outside and use that. The sun will shine through the holes in the colander onto the pavement on your sidewalk or your driveway or whatever, and you can see the same effect using that.
That's basically the concept of an indirect viewer, is that you are seeing the effect of the eclipse, the effect that it has on shadows, light through the box, things like that. So yeah, it's a great point. You've got something at home that you can use if you don't have it already.
And even if you don't have any of those things at home, I can almost
The
guarantee
leaves.
you, right, that you have a tree outside,
Yes.
right? And when the eclipse happened in 2017, the trees that we're underneath right now were casting that shadow on the sidewalk here. So even up in our offices, we could just look out the window down to the sidewalk and see the effects of the eclipse happening from the leaves casting the shadows there. All right,
Yes, let's do it.
let's
Okay.
get started. So
Yes.
we're going to start our indirect viewer by taking our box, and we're going to trace the box onto the piece of paper here so that we will have a piece that we can put inside the box that will actually view the shadow on. And so when I'm tracing this, let me do it this way so you can see what I'm doing here.
This is Eric's first time even seeing his workspace. We just threw a bunch of supplies on a tiny little
You can
black
actually see
square.
the light
printing.
here. This is a good example of what I was talking about the shadows. There's no effect here yet because the eclipse hasn't gotten here yet, but you can see these shadows will become crescents later on. But go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. You do it all the time.
I do. I mean,
Yeah.
But maybe
it's
even
my favorite thing to do, actually.
that's
I
right.
just see,
That's right. Aaron and I have a love-hate relationship.
mostly hate.
Um,
But no, that's
Exactly.
fine.
Shout out to everyone who had special K berries this morning. Also, red berries.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
They're delicious, actually.
And so maybe when the eclipse is in full effect, we can just take a piece of paper here
We
and
absolutely can do
show
that.
so you can see the difference
Yeah.
between what we're seeing now
Yes. Look how
and
these
what we will see then.
basically just regular shadows that will all turn into little crescent-shaped shadows,
Yep.
and even more so here today as it gets closer to totality.
All right, so I'm just going to trace the bottom of the box here, and I want to make it slightly smaller than what the box is because it's going to go inside. All right, and then we'll grab our scissors. Aaron, do you have my
Scissors
scissors?
right here, yes, sir.
Thank you, assistant.
Yep.
There's no one more qualified to do this than Eric.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Although
I thought
you
you were
can
going
do
to
it at
say
home too.
qualified to be his assistant than me.
I
Yes,
agree with
that's
that.
true. No
I
one's
agree
more
with that.
qualified to do this than Eric. No one's more qualified to assist him
I absolutely
probably
agree.
than me. Yes.
That is correct. Okay, so I've cut this strip of paper out, and I'm just going to take a little bit of tape here, and we're going to roll the tape onto itself. Hopefully you can see that there, right? So
Is
it's
the official term for that a tape loop? That's
That's a
absolutely
pretty good term. I mean,
That
that's
is a
pretty.
technical
Yeah, I
term.
mean, when you
that
say
just
that,
coined, and that's what we're calling it.
and
a
when you
tape
say
loop.
that, you totally know what it is, right? Everybody's done a tape loop before. I've never called it that. I love it.
So I've got one there. I'm going to do one more. Just roll this up. Put it on the other side here, so that I've got
We have
two tape loops.
two tape loops, as
on the
Gina
edge
called
of the
them.
tape. All right. And then I'm going to take my paper with the tape loops, and I'm going to stick it inside with the tape loops onto the bottom.
So it may be tricky to see this on the camera. That's why you cut it a tiny bit smaller than the size of the box opening, right, Eric? Because it's going to go inside and taped to the very bottom of the box.
Right.
Now, this does not have to be, yes, perfect.
Right.
It does not have to be as perfect as Eric's is. Eric's is a professional artist. He's a craftsman. He does this kind of thing for a living.
Every
It's not
day.
going to be as perfect as Eric's, and that's okay. We
That's
just
okay.
strive to do our best.
That's right.
That's all we do.
That's right. That's the Cub Scout motto.
Exactly.
Do your best.
Yes.
All right. Then we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut off the side tabs on either side of the box here. We won't need those. They're just in the
Yeah,
way.
get those out of the way.
And then on the lid itself, we want to cut the two sides off, a little square on either side. We're going to leave this part in the middle intact so that we can use that little flap that normally closes the box to do so. All right, so turn this around this way and make a cut here and here. And we will cut that off. Cut this side off. And then we're going to do the same back here.
I also like the cereal box because it's like almost set up to do this. Like it's got like the little tabs so you know right where to cut.
It's like it was
That's
made for
right.
this. Like when they made cereal boxes, they went, let's make sure this is going to be eclipse friendly.
Yeah, that fits.
Okay, so I'm going to close up my tab. And this is what we have. So a hole on either side, and the center part is still intact. Now, in order to help keep that intact, I'm going to just put a little piece of tape on there.
See, that's a pro
And-
tip.
and-
Only Eric
right.
would know that.
And as
That's
you
right.
can see, this is not Eric's doing a great job, but he's not Michelangelo here, right? He's just using the cereal
but he
box.
doesn't need to be.
Right. That's a great point, Gina. Yes, you don't have to be. You can be like Eric, and if you are, that's great. But you don't have to be.
This is for function, not for fanciness.
Exactly. Yes.
All right.
Because
You could get fancy.
none of this affects how you can see the light that goes through, as long as you do it the right way.
Right.
Yes.
That's correct. But yes, certainly if you have Cub Scouts that want to decorate their box and cover it in moons and stars and suns and things like that with some construction paper, that would be a great way to
That's a great idea.
fill in some time.
That's
while
a
you're
great
waiting for
idea.
the,
Yes. Somebody posted in the comments earlier they did this with their Cub Scout den. What do you need, Eric?
I need the foil.
Foil is right here.
Okay.
Here you go, sir. Somebody commented earlier that they did this project with their Cub Scout den. That's a great idea. What a great Cub Scout den project to do.
That's a good question. Eric, can you, so what was cut off the box is he opened up the top of the cereal box where you have two flaps.
Yes.
And he cut basically a square on both sides by just cutting out a part of those tabs.
Yeah, we were pointing out earlier how the Eclipse, the cereal box is almost made perfectly for this, and that's one of the ways. It's all the way the top is constructed makes it very easy to cut off the ends right there. But
and reclosing the tab.
Yes,
that's so handy that you've already got these tabs that just auto close.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Mr. Jarrett, I'll hand that back to you.
All right.
Okay, so now I have cut a small square of tinfoil from my larger sheet that I'm going to cover one of these openings with.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but the piece of foil just needs to be bigger than the hole there, and obviously big enough to give you some extra room on the side so you can tape it down. But again, Eric's Michelangelo. You don't have to be Michelangelo. You can do it however it can look sloppy and messy, and that's fine.
All right, so I've got that folded over the sides there, and I'm just going to use my tape to hold that in place.
Oh, you got a lot of fans out there really enjoying your work, Eric.
Yes.
Anybody who's got, not in the full path of totality, take heart. You're still supposed to get a partial view here in North America.
And somebody posted it earlier, as Eric works, we'll just comment. Someone commented earlier from California that they're going to be watching. Yeah, you don't have to be right in the middle. When you look at that path of totality, which we'll show you several times today, it looks narrow, but you can see something way far out from there, almost anywhere.
They say most of North America. Most of the
United States.
In fact, I think when it came through in 2017, we weren't.
It was not that close.
Isn't that wild?
Yes, and when I went back and looked at a map, Eric, I was surprised how far away from us it was because it looked really cool here in North Texas.
In the path of totality for years.
Yes, exactly. Only when you go back and look. We're going to, by the way, talk about 2017.
Okay.
But yeah, see how that path? See how it looks thin? That's really, just the width of the sun or the sun's shadow.
That's miles wide.
It is miles wide, exactly. But way miles, even more miles are wide than that is eclipse viewing for everywhere, even way up in the Pacific Northwest, way up there. You can still see some of the effect of the eclipse. Again, back in 2017, we were down in almost this exact same spot, and we got a really cool effect on like you said, the shadows and things like that with our glasses. You could see the sun. We were nowhere near the path of totality.
That's right.
And it looked great.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, assistant, do you have my push pin?
What do you need? Push pin. Yes, sir. I'll put it down right there and let you pick it up.
So this is our last step, and we're going to take our push pin or paper clip or safety pin, whatever you have, and just gently poke a hole right through the middle of the tin foil, like so. Right?
Yep.
I don't know if you can see
Yep.
that.
It's literally a pinhole.
Right. So
what's the purpose of that, Eric?
Essentially what we're making here, although we're calling it an indirect eclipse viewer, the principle is that of a pinhole camera. And so light will come in through this hole and it'll focus on that piece of paper that we put in the bottom of the box. And this is one of the ways that photography started years and years ago, was with pinhole cameras. And the thing that you won't notice with the eclipse viewer, but if you're using it as a pinhole camera, you'll notice when you look at it, the image is flipped upside down. And the reason that is because light travels in straight lines. And so, like if I was to take a picture of Aaron here, and I'm focusing my camera here on him, the light from the top of his head is going to come into this hole, and it's going to keep going. And so it's the top of his head is going to end up being at the bottom. And same thing, the light from his chin is going to come in a straight angle to the hole, and it'll keep going, and it'll end up at the top. So the image will be flipped upside down. And I'll tell you a neat story. When I was in 4th grade, decades ago again,
We won't say how long, Eric. We don't need to say how long, just 4th grade.
We had a great science teacher, and I don't remember her name, but we made a life-size pinhole camera. So we had a door to the outside of the school that had one of those narrow windows on it, so you can see if you're about to open the door onto someone.
Yep.
And that opened into a little ante-room, and then there was a secondary door that let you inside the building. And so we covered that window with a piece of paper and poked a tiny hole in it. And then we all stood in there, and we could see the view from outside the door projected on the opposite wall upside down.
That's
it was
so cool.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's so interesting. This technology has been around for decades, hundreds of years, thousands of years, and we're still using it today to view the eclipse. It's pretty fascinating.
So your indirect viewer is now complete. And so what you're going to want to do to use this is you want to stand with the sun behind you, and you are going to look through the cutout that you have here.
So the sun right now here is about right there. So this is about how you would do it, right?
Right. So you point that to the sun, and you're going to look in the hole this way, and the light from the sun will be coming through the hole that way, and focusing on that piece of white paper in the bottom. So you'll see a little circle that eventually, much like the graphic on Aaron's shirt, will start to become a crescent, and then eventually it'll just be gone.
So depending on where you are,
right,
it may be partially gone or totally gone. If you have an eclipse viewer like this, an indirect viewer, you can take it out and kind of test it. I think right now you should just see a little dot, right? To make sure everything is clear.
If I can see
yep, right. You should get like a little tiny dot of light at the bottom of that. Yep. Can you see it, Eric?
I can see it.
Perfect. So
Wow.
Eric's eclipse viewer that he made in just about 5 or 7 minutes here. We kept him talking and probably could have done it faster if he hadn't done
See
that.
it through here. I don't
How
know.
quickly do you think you could have made that? You kind of can. You can see the white paper.
Yeah, there'll be a little dot down there. Maybe tricky to see because the sun's coming up.
Right.
a
I
little
need
high,
the angle of the camera.
Right.
Well, one thing, so I think that it's fairly easy to use an eclipse viewer like this. There's a little bit of adjustments you kind of have to do as you're looking through there to make sure you're focusing the light through the pinhole. I'll also say the shoebox viewer, you have some freedom as to what side you put the open box on, and so you can have like a little. You could be standing at a different angle if that makes a difference to you. Again, we'll show you how to make that shoebox viewer coming up at some point. Also, those videos are on scoutlife.org if you want to check them out.
When it happened in 2017, I had made a different type of viewer too out of a cardboard mailing tube. And so you can use that same principle.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
But you cut
I remember that too.
You cut a hole in the side. So you hold the tube up to the light, and you've got your pinhole in the cap of the tube and another cap at the bottom that'll focus on. You just cut a hole in the side here where you can look and see that image being displayed.
That's kind of typical Eric overachieving and doing things like that.
Yes, he brought that out and it was passed around amongst everyone standing outside to see that you could do it. Yeah, there's a lot of different items you could use. If you're looking for kind of like the same technology you're looking at here with this pinhole viewer, you could think of something like a oatmeal box. There's lots of cardboard boxes and breakfast foods. It's like they were made to be together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Stop by if you get bored throughout the day.
For once, Eric did a great job. Thank you for coming, Eric. We appreciate that. That was awesome. Let's get ourselves rotated here.
Anything for you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
Seriously, come back.
Yes, yes.
I want to do 2 quick giveaways to make good on our promise that if you're commenting along with today's show, you are entering for a chance to win t-shirts, emblems, which are also
what kind of t-shirts do you do?
These t-shirts, these
we
awesome
should probably
Eclipse
mention what shirts we're wearing. I don't think we said that yet, right?
Well, we did top the show, but it's never too late. We've got a lot of people tuning in. Please keep tagging your friends so they can tune into today's show. In just minutes, we're going to be going live. In just 1 minute, we're going to be going live with some scouts. But quickly, I want to say thank you to Jennifer Moritz for watching. You are taking home a t-shirt.
Jennifer.
You don't even have to take it home. We'll mail it to your home. It glows in the dark. There you can see it in action. And then I also want to give a patch away to Darla Dosh Hensel. I'm calling it a patch. It's technically an emblem, but that will be shipping your way. You all keep your eyes on your inbox. I'll be messaging you to get your address, and then we will be shipping these items your way. There are many, many, many more chances to win today, so keep watching with us. Let's do a quick recap of how to make that cereal box eclipse viewer if somebody tuned in late. And then after that, we'll be back with some scouts we can't wait to introduce you to. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Scout Life Eclipse Live.
Live show. I mean, you never know,
We really
right?
are live.
We
We're
really
just
are live.
proving.
Yep.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in with us. We are here with some scouts from Erie, Pennsylvania. Hello, y'all. Can you hear us?
Hi.
So it's about 12:30
Yes.
Central Time, and the eclipse is just beginning to make its way across the United States. These folks in Pennsylvania are still maybe an hour and a half away. So, guys, tell us kind of where you are and what you're doing.
So we're at the Gem City Outdoorsman Club, and we're out in the shotgun trap shooting area waiting to view the eclipse.
How long till it will be overhead for you all?
2 hours, I think.
So it looks
Somewhere
like
around that.
it looks like I can see you guys. By the way, set up in a perfect spot. I can see behind you. Looks like it's kind of partially cloudy. Can you give us a live weather update of the conditions where you are?
So
Less
a
cloudy
little
than it was.
Yeah,
It was-
less cloudy out there.
It was much more cloudy earlier, raining.
Okay, so we're making it better.
You know, Aaron has been so worried about the weather here. He's been worried it's cloudy, and I keep saying it doesn't matter. It's going to go straight up, well, at least really dark for a little bit, and we're going to feel it. We're going to see something. So no matter what happens to the weather, something we can't control, I think we're going to get a pretty cool view. Now, assuming you're going to get to be able to observe the eclipse in some way, what have you all done to prepare? Do you have glasses, viewers? Tell me about that.
So we have some glasses, and then there's a big viewing station over there, and then we have a pinhole thing.
Nice. I have mine in my hands.
Did you guys make those pinhole viewers yourselves?
No,
No.
that was the
It's
camp.
pre-made. Okay, nice.
Tell us about the viewing station. What's that? What's over there?
Can I see it?
It's made by.
Can I see that? More in there? Okay.
It's made by Gannon, and it just has
Well,
like a pole and then some welding.
Oh, so it's
Like
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 something you
a-
look into?
Across it.
like a platform, kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can just look straight up into that when the
standing
eclipse.
area, maybe, right?
That is so cool.
That's very cool.
Maybe
Yeah.
we can make one of those. I think like 45 years or something. We can have that ready.
Yes, exactly. You guys look nice and sharp with the uniforms on. Have you been there all weekend?
Have you been there all weekend?
Yeah,
Yes, since
Friday.
They look sharp for big camping all weekend.
No kidding. So how did you all find out about this camp, and what have you been doing all weekend?
well, our troop has been going here for a while. So we were just here 2 years before, 4 years, and so we already knew that about this camp. So when we heard there's a camporee, we just signed up.
So we've been doing some rifle, shotgun, archery. There's also been some fishing activities, launching rockets. NASA was here.
NASA.
What?
That's really really awesome. So this is obviously we were talking earlier, Gina, about how a lot of scout councils took advantage of this by having a camp out and extending it into Monday. That's what the Gem City Eclipse Camporee is all about. So what do you guys think now that the weekend is over and that we're into Monday? Is the excitement for the eclipse building? What are you guys feeling right now? Are you ready for it to happen? Are you excited about it? Is everybody just kind of chilled? What's the climate like? What's the atmosphere like?
Well, probably around 65 degrees.
Nice.
That sounds pretty good.
That's the climate.
That's
And
the
I
climate.
think it doesn't get more exact than that. We really appreciate y'all joining and seeing some real scouts in action about to view the eclipse. And I know it's a couple hours to y'all are going to get to actually see it. After you view it, if you're taking pictures, whatever, share those with us so we can show you all getting to actually witness this. If you're watching at home and you want to take part in the conversation, share some photos, if you go to your Instagram and use hashtag Scout the Eclipse on your photos and your videos, we'll be able to show those throughout the show. You can also do it on Twitter or X, whatever you call it at the moment as well. # Scout the Eclipse. So what does the rest of the day look like? So you see the eclipse and then what?
We're gonna be
We need to
going
be
back.
cleaned up by 1:30, and then we're out of here after the eclipse.
So,
What an exciting end of the day.
yeah, exactly. So, have you guys? Is there been a lot of hype in your area? Because you're in a kind of a unique position to be in the path of totality. I know down here in North Texas, there's been a lot of excitement lately. What has it been like up there for the last few weeks or so?
People have been talking about it a lot, but since all the traffic's been coming in, we've been here.
Many assemblies in school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is school out today?
Some is, some has flexible days.
I've heard a lot of schools doing that where you have the option if you want to go view it somewhere, the eclipse, that they're offering that freedom. I know some people now don't have school on Mondays post-pandemic, so that's also a kind of cool distinction. I don't know if we gave you both a chance to introduce yourself, and also if you want to give a shout out to anybody at home or there with you, feel free.
Say your names.
I'm Nathan.
Okay, I'm Bobby. I guess. So,
First class.
and I'm Life.
How old are you guys?
12.
14.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining.
Very,
I know
very
you
cool.
have very busy schedules today. We were really lucky to get to grab some time with you. I know you still have a couple hours, so I hope you enjoy other aspects of the camporee. Aaron, do you have other questions for them before we let them go?
Well,
and again, they need to shout.
Yes, yeah. If you guys want to say hi to
There's a lot
anybody
of
who might be
people
watching at
watching.
home, surely you have some friends, anybody like that you want to shout out to? Nope, they're good.
Hi,
They're good.
Grandma. Yes.
I'm good.
Great.
Hey, I do have a question. How are you going to view the actual eclipse? Are you going to
What are
use
you
the
gonna
pinhole beauty, or do you have glasses? What are you going to do? He's going to bring out his glasses. He's got his glasses. Let's see him. Hold him up so we can see him. There we go. They're
there's
prepared. Those are some fancy
yeah.
ones too.
Yeah.
Oh, let's take a
There's a
look.
great shot. Yeah, that's the viewing area, I guess, right there, right?
Man, for 2 hours to go, and everyone is already kind of huddling up in anticipation.
Hey, did they tell you guys what to expect when the actual moment happens, when the eclipse happens? Do you know what it's expected to look like there?
Well, there's going to be a big ring around the moon.
Yep. Sun around the moon, darkness.
And,
pretty much it.
and what causes that ring around the moon? Tell us about that.
So the sun's atmosphere. Corona.
Very smart.
Good. Yep.
He knows. He's done his homework, Gina. Perfect.
You all.
I was hoping I
are
could
so
fool him with
correct.
that question, but I
No.
couldn't fool him at all. He was all over it.
They know their stuff. All right. Any closing thoughts from you all? Is there anything else you want to say or add for people out there?
Now we're having a good time.
Y'all are awesome. Loved talking to you.
This is the first of many, many scout groups that we're going to talk with across the day today. Thank you guys for joining us so much. It's really good to see you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, okay?
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. That's
Bye.
live from Erie, Pennsylvania. Quite a far bit of ways from us here in North Texas, but it looks like they're ready. They've got a few more hours for their eclipse. We've just got about another hour here, Gina.
Yeah, actually some comments saying that it's starting to take place. I want to give a quick shout out to Stephanie Jackson for making that happen. Hey, don't spoil it yet.
I've got a live update.
Quick shout out to Stephanie Jackson for making that happen. Yeah, check it out. That
The
is our
moment of
live.
contact has happened. I can report.
That's our live sun cam right there. That is coming from actually a videographer. You can see.
Yep, you can see all the action maybe over there.
A lot of people are actually gathering over there now.
Right.
But earlier you could have seen him there in the corner as Eric was doing his demo on the solar eclipse viewer. That is the live shot, and you can actually see obviously clouds are passing over. It's getting darker and lighter.
And I will say, so the view that you're seeing from that camera is pretty similar to what you will see from eclipse glasses, although it's a slightly different color. the sun, when
Bright?
I look
Is
through
it
these
brighter or
glasses,
dimmer?
it's yellower. So it's brighter. Yeah, 'cause it looks yellow. But you can see that cloud cover. Actually, it's kind of cool. It doesn't really affect anything. In fact, it's kind of neat. The clouds have been kind of in and out today here in North Texas. I think it's kind of going to be that way for most of the country. But when I sit here and look, I mean, I can barely see the clouds going over the sun right now. It's basically, although it looks kind of overcast here, it's basically not a factor, Gina. So if you're looking outside and you're thinking, oh, it's too cloudy, everybody needs to go outside.
Yeah. And in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking to our safety expert, Tracy. Can't wait to introduce you all a little bit about eclipse safety and some things to keep in mind. I know we've got to definitely talk about the ways you view the eclipse, but make sure you're drinking water. Don't get fooled if it's sunny out. It feels so pleasant out. I'm actually going to take a sip of mine as
water
well.
myself right now. No big deal.
Yeah, we got to keep reminding each other to do that. And I got to say, I see so many people in the comments worried about weather, saying it's cloudy. I hope you all just can, like, let's all collectively, we won't worry. We can't control the weather, but I think we're all going to get to see something pretty cool today.
Nobody was, as Gina can attest, nobody had more anxiety about the weather than me. And maybe second is behind the scenes, Brian. For the last 4, 5, 7 days or so. But I'm telling you right now, I mean, it is overcast here, but as you can see that live video right now. You can see the sun. It's totally fine. It's amazing. I mean, it's totally fine. So it might look cloudy where you are. Don't get discouraged. That's okay.
We're seeing it now. We were just live with some scouts in Erie, Pennsylvania at the Gem City Camporee. They are going to be seeing it in a couple hours. Also want to remind you that they were very fun to talk to. They've been taking part in a camporee all weekend. This is the last day. They're hours away from it being over. I'm
actually impressed with how clean they looked.
Yes.
When my kid went scouting on the third day, he didn't look like that at all. He was just, anyway, they looked great.
Scouts willing to do a live interview with us on the end of a camporee. I'm pretty impressed. They have to be super exhausted, and they haven't even seen like the pinnacle of what they're there.
They're still 2 hours away from the highlight of their event. Yes, that was really cool that they joined us. We appreciate their time very, very much. Gina, there's a thing called an eclipse emblem.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
What is that? What's that?
Let me show you what it is. It's actually, it's a patch like this, and we're giving a few of these away today. You can also order them from Scout Shop, or Scout Shop's storefronts actually carry them as well. Although I've got to say they might be running out of them at this point.
Yep.
You can still get them. And if you haven't even thought about emblem requirements until today, it's not too late. You're allowed to earn the emblem after the eclipse has passed. You're allowed to earn the emblem even if you're not in the path of totality. You're allowed to earn the emblem even if you're not a scout. It's been emphasized to us that this emblem and the requirements are all about fun, having fun and enjoying the process. And if you watch today's show with us and comment along and just, participate and watch, we will walk you through all of the requirements you need to earn an emblem. You'll be able to go buy this or ask your scout leader to order it for you. But the first thing we're going to tackle right now, which is locating a site suitable for viewing the eclipse.
Yeah, it's been emphasized to us before, Gina, and it's worth saying again that this is not like a merit badge pamphlet where you have to have a counselor. This is not like a Cub Scout adventure where you might do it as part of your den. This is something you can do with Gina and me right now. Step number 1, locate a site suitable for viewing the eclipse. Gina, I mean, it could almost be anywhere, right? A site suitable for viewing the eclipse. Basically anywhere that you have a view of the sky. Gina and I are sitting under some nice shaded trees, but guess what? We can see the sky.
Well, okay, what we wanted to do is kind of make a running list of ideas of places that are suitable for viewing the eclipse. I've got a weird one to add. This live stream right now, because we are showing a sun cam where you can actually see the eclipse. If you're watching with us, you are viewing the eclipse right now, as you can see. Yes, that's a great one. Behind the scenes, Brian's had a little joke in there for us already in front of the National Office of the BSA.
That's where
it's funny because our execs are kind of like walking around and singing and stuff around behind us. So you can get the ambient noise of that here. That's unique.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, in front of the National Office of the BSA, that's where we are right now on this broadcast.
Yes, on this broadcast.
You can view the eclipse on this broadcast. Stick with us. You can see it's happening. It's beginning to happen right now.
You could, if you have ideas to add to this list, we will absolutely add them. But school playground, that came from Anne Marie. School playground, perfect.
Playground. We had some folks stop by just before as we were getting set up here, Gina. They had flown in from California. They were going to visit it at a park right down the street, like a local park, right? So I would add local park to the list. Anywhere like that would work.
How about in front of your office? Maybe you have to work today. You got to walk outside. You just got to do it where you can see it.
I would add also, Gina, maybe you're working from home today. My wife is working home today. In front of your house.
That's
Walk
perfect.
out in front of your house, watch it with your neighbors.
Let me do this one in back of your house. You go to the backyard and watch it.
Let me add this one in back of your office. Maybe the view is better from the back of the office than the front of the office.
See, and we are actually living that battle here at the office because we're here in front, what I call the front of the office, and then there is a whole watch party happening in back of the office.
They didn't invite us. It's just
they didn't invite us. They totally ignored that this was happening.
It's totally
It's
fine.
fine.
We don't
I mean,
even care. It's
it
fine.
is less
Whatever.
noise.
Yeah.
Reading your comments, you have a lot. I also saw ball field at the ball field.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That could be either at like a professional. Wait, I have a question. Are there any MLB games going on?
Gina,
right now?
I was just about to say that. I'm glad you said it. I feel like Major League Baseball missed an opportunity. I actually checked the schedule this morning. There are no day games today. The first game starts at like 4 p.m. Central Time. So basically, after the eclipse is over, I feel like maybe they missed an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Why not start the game at 2 or 3 right after the eclipse, right?
All they want to be with their families.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And they make them miss like their birth of their children, but they don't make them miss the eclipse.
Got to see the eclipse.
You know, it doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah. I feel like maybe we need to let them know next time.
Right. So
just take advantage of that.
There's a really obvious one we're missing. Something that we have seen people they're at right now.
I can't believe we didn't think of it. I can't believe we didn't say it.
A camporee?
Yes, a scout camp out. Yeah. Any sort of scout camp, camporee, anything like that that's going on this weekend. And a lot of those, a lot of the scouts that we're going to talk to today had a camporee Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but and stayed open for one more day. But you could also show up just on Monday. So for whatever reason, if you had a conflict on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, no worries, just show up on Monday. Them are also open to the public, but you don't have to be a scout, which is a great idea too.
Right. You know, I got distracted by a really good comment and lost my thought. But you could literally put any state in the contiguous United States in here because the vast majority of you should get some view of the eclipse, even if you're not in the path of totality. We said at the school playground, I guess also just anywhere around your school. So like in front of your school and back of your school, depending on where you're viewing it. Probably a lot of your kids are watching it at school.
Yep.
Marcy's in her backyard.
Oh, she's got a great view down there, I bet.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of folks watching it in their school playground or something like that. That's a great place to view it.
On the roof of your building. If
as long as it's safe. Be safe, everybody.
If it's safe.
Maybe you shouldn't climb up the side of your building.
Yes, right off camera. Okay, y'all don't push it.
Climb up the side of the building and then rappel down. Don't do that. But if there's stairway access, then sure, why not? Roof of your building.
Your balcony?
Say balcony is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, if you're safe.
I would like to add one more maybe.
Okay.
Out your window.
Oh, yeah, you can stay inside.
It, right? Yes, if for
Some
whatever reason
really
you're too busy, you can't go out in the sun. Exactly. Some people may be so busy at work, they're not fortunate like us. They don't get to do fun things like this during the day. They actually have to work. You can look out your window and see, look how cool the sun looks. I want to keep this list
going. Again, these are suggestions that you can use. We will come back to this list. Don't worry, but I want to give you a quick look at the sun. Remember, clouds are passing overhead, so if it looks black,
it's coming in and out.
You see that?
And I will say, again, Gina, let me just say, with my glasses, I can see it a little bit better than we can through Michael's fancy camera.
Well, you don't get that really cool view.
I do not get that kind of detail. That is correct. I'm
it's
seeing
like
a more yellowish view. Let us know what you guys are seeing where you are right now. There are lots of folks in the southern part of the United States that are seeing what we're seeing. Some of the folks maybe down in Southwest Texas seeing even more than what we're seeing. We're actually going to check in with them here in just a bit. Let us know in the comments what you're seeing. You can see right there what we're seeing.
In a few minutes, we're going to be giving away both a Scout Shop hammock, which what's cool about the BSA hammocks is you not only get the hammock, but you get the hammock straps all in one. It's not two things you have to buy. So we will be giving that whole set away in just a minute to somebody who's commenting. And then we're also going to be giving away a pop-up screen tent with a tarp floor. It's actually like a bug net tent. It's a freestanding bug net that pops up instantly into shape, and it provides you a safe refuge. It is marketed as a tent. I see it in tents. I can see a lot of people just using this as their tent.
It could totally work
people who work
as
here,
a tent in warm weather when you're not expecting any rain or anything like that, right?
It keeps the bugs out. But before we do that giveaway, so that's your cue to keep commenting, I want to go back. We're talking about requirement 1 of the solar eclipse emblem that you can get from Scout Shop. And we're talking about locating a site suitable for viewing the eclipse. We've been having a lot of success with your ideas. all of you, we are looking for ideas of suitable places to view the eclipse. We're adding them to our, I guess we can call it a never-ending list. I mean, it's probably going to end.
It could
in
go
a minute,
on for.
but
It could go on.
so far, we've got about 10 ideas.
And
So.
it could go on for a long time, Gina. I think that the moral of the story is
A park.
a park.
the
I'm
moral.
so sorry. Excuse me.
Bless
Gina,
you.
I'm sorry. We're outdoors here in North Texas. It is allergy season.
Yes.
My apologies. A park is great. There's almost really the list could go on forever. I think maybe you could
A
sum it all
national
by
park.
saying
A high adventure
a
base.
state park, a local park, a national park, a high adventure
A
base,
scout.
a scout camp.
Yeah.
I think really the answer
Philmont, I
is
see, had a comment
Philmont.
for it. The Philmont says something. Hold on, I want to see something they said about the
Go back
review.
and
If you
review.
go up just a little bit behind the scenes, Brian.
Philmont
Philmont Scout Ranch.
It's a little
It's
overcast.
a little overcast, but
That's
we
kind of
can
what it is
still
here,
see the
guys.
sun.
That's basically
Yeah.
what it is here. A little bit overcast. You can still see the sun. I think the moral of the story is requirement number one: find a suitable viewing location. It's really almost anywhere. I mean, we're so fortunate in here the year 2024 on April 8th to be able to see this eclipse almost anywhere in North America.
It's so exciting. Well, you know what's really exciting?
What's that?
Some of our people out there are like, Eclipse, great. Giveaways. That's what I'm here
Give me
for.
the prices.
Give me the
Give
giveaways.
me some of them prices.
We're going to give two away right now. Aaron, if you'll just do an interlude of entertainment here for us while I use my fancy comment picker.
The prize that we're giving away now is the pop-up screen tent. It's a freestanding bug net that pops open instantly into shape to provide a safe refuge from bugs. Simply slide off the elastic strap, toss it up in the air, and it lands and it pops up. And we were just saying earlier that on a nice warm day like today, it may be the only tent that you need. You can also set it up, you can put a tarp over it or something like that, should it be raining or something like that. This would be great for Scout summer camp. Any of us who have ever been to summer camp, I'm looking at Eric right over there. We know what it can be like with the bugs at night, and that looks like that photo there when you're under those tarp on those wooden planks.
Rob had a good piece of insight. He said it's a really great tent. Make sure you know how to fold it up afterwards. It's like, think of the technology of like your window screen or your window blocker in your car. You kind of like wrap back up in the
It's a
circle.
rustle with that thing,
Or-
right, to get it back.
Yes, a lot of people have laundry baskets like that.
Yep.
But once you get the hang of it, it's
Yeah.
super easy and
Yep.
very impressive.
Yep.
It's like your magic. Well, I know who's winning both of that and our hammock.
You already know and you're not telling us?
Yeah.
Well, tell us. Who is it?
Okay, our hammock, our BSA hammock, which again includes the straps. That's a pretty big deal because
Yeah.
you know if you bought a hammock before, oftentimes you get like the hammock and then you have to buy separate straps.
How do
Nope,
I hang it up?
you get all of it. Christine Stukes.
Good job, Christine. Nice
Check it
job.
out.
Good job.
Yes. And then our bug net / tent is going to Martha Dolson Reese.
Good job, Martha.
You keep your eyes on your inbox. I'll message you, get your address. We'll make sure we get these shipped your way. If for some reason you're not seeing it, feel free to message the account where you're watching right now, and we'll make sure we get you hooked up.
What did they have to do to win, Gina?
They just had to comment.
That's-
And
All they had to do is comment?
Aaron, we have more things, like a lot more things to give away, more things than we could even give away. So just keep commenting, y'all.
Any compliments to Aaron and Gina also count. Feel free to leave those.
We're counting those double.
Yes, and tagging a friend also counts as a comment. If you have a friend, if you know somebody who you think might enjoy the show today, please tag them in the comments. We'd love for them to join. I kind of figure most people, Gina, are kind of going to join our show off and on throughout the day. You might need to step outside, come back inside, rejoin. That's allowed. That's not only allowed, I think it's encouraged.
Emerson, he's going to be on our show in a little bit. Emerson Polly, it was on MasterChef Junior. He is a Weeblo
Emerson
Scout.
is awesome.
He is
I call him Awesome Emerson. No big
He's
deal.
been
It's just
wanting a
what I call him.
hammock.
Yep.
We need to make sure we hook him up with a hammock. Let me
Yes.
just make sure I write that down. Emerson, thank you for commenting. We will make sure that happens for you.
Emerson is awesome. We're going to have that for you later on today, along with a lot of other good content. Again, we're going to be talking with a selection of scouts across the country throughout the path of totality. We're going to talk with a astronomer / illustrator. We're going to talk with a Eagle Scout astronaut. We have a really lot of cool special guests lined up here over the next. Gina, we've been going for almost an hour.
I know.
We're basically 25% done.
In literally like 60 to 120 seconds, we're going to bring Tracy on the show. But I saw a comment. Somebody was saying, I'm in Lawton, Oklahoma, won't see much. Now, I believe you, But I'm also wondering if that's true. I think you might see a little something there. It's not too terribly
I think
far.
you're going to want to go outside just in case.
Yeah.
You're going to want to view the eclipse safely, which we're going to tell you about here in just a
ready.
minute. Yes. But I think you're going to be able to see quite a bit.
Yeah.
In Lawton, Oklahoma. You're not that far from us here in DFW.
That's what I'm thinking. We said earlier in the show, the 2017 eclipse, we had a lot of luck getting to view that here. And it took me years to know. We weren't even in the path of totality. I thought that we were. We weren't. We were like barely
almost
far.
nowhere, like several states away
Yeah.
from the path of totality. And it was very cool. So if you're in Oklahoma, you're not that far away at all. If maybe you're referring to the cloud cover, guess what? It's kind of cloudy here. We can still see the sun. You can see it right there.
That cam.
Of course, you're going to want to wear your glasses. Do not look up there without your glasses. But I got to say, Gina, looking at it through the glasses, it's perfect. It's great. I could not ask for better conditions.
Well, you can check out the path of totality on your screen. You can check our live sun cam. That's basically what we can see right now. I'm about to tilt the camera and you'll be able to see the camera setup that's capturing that view. Also, I think we're ready for Tracy.
I think
Tracy's ready for us.
Yeah, let's bring Tracy on here.
No, you guys are awesome.
We
Come on over here,
have
Tracy.
Tracy Turner with us. I think this is your first time joining us on a live show.
Tracy, you have to be careful because when at the BSA, when you show that you're good at something, you get asked to do it over and over again. So just be warned. You might ask you to do this again.
Well, I'm pretty sure you guys are the experts here. You guys have researched it. Louder.
Yeah.
You guys have researched it. I've seen all your articles. You guys have been doing awesome. So thank you for having me.
Thank you,
I'm
Tracy.
excited.
Appreciate that. We're happy to have you on.
When we talk with Tracy, I'm always interested because she thinks of things I would never think of. Our safety team is good at thinking of things I'm not even considering.
That's
so I'm
what they're
curious,
trained to do, right?
Yeah, we talk so much about how to view the eclipse, but I'm wondering what's not even on our radar. But we still need to ask the obvious.
Right.
How can we safely view
Right.
the eclipse?
Yeah. Maybe just start with give us a broad overview of safety viewing the eclipse.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys have covered it a few times. Your glasses, you have your pinhole. Those are all things that will protect your eyes this eclipse viewing season. It's really important eye protection, right? So your normal sunglasses. So don't go outside and put those normal sunglasses, your reading glasses. Those are not going to protect you. So those ISO 12312-2 certified glasses is going to be the key to success here. So make sure to look at the manufacturer guidelines on them too. So make sure you're getting ones that meet that spec. They're not off brands or second or third party, that they're official viewing glasses.
Yeah, so that is what blows my mind, because a lot of times we just summarize it by saying, oh, make sure they're official glasses, but there's actually, I don't know if you can show that ISO. I think it'll show up on screen. There's also a quiz on scoutlife.org that, again, I gotta give a shout for behind the science. Behind the scenes. You can take it and it walks you through making sure your glasses are actually safe to use.
Yeah, also if they're broken or scratched, are you pulling them out from a few years ago? Did you find them on the street? Make sure they're good and in good working condition. I know it's something that we don't think about initially, but
yeah,
it's important.
And I would point out that I think these are not that expensive to make. They're pretty easy to do. They can get scratched up easy. Tracy makes a great point there. When I was coming to work today, my initial instinct was to fold these up and stick in my back pocket. And I went, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I need to be a little bit more careful. This is just a kind of a thin little layer of that plastic or whatever it is. It's very, very dark.
Yeah, and the safety, safety's my job, and I put a pair in my jeans and washed them this weekend, and then I'm pulled them out. I'm oh no, I probably shouldn't have done that. So make sure they haven't been through the washing machine.
Don't put them in the washing machine. Excellent tip there.
That they're in good working condition. So
I would think too, there's a lot that are just given away free. And you want to, assume the best in people, but they may or may not know all this information. So you may as well check to make sure they're legit.
Yeah, and if they're third party, right? You buy stuff on Amazon thinking that they're certified, but they might not meet that manufacturer guidelines and that standard to view the eclipse safety.
And I have even heard that some that were available on Amazon have been recalled already.
Specifically,
so just check your email, right? If you got yours from Amazon, make sure they haven't already been recalled. I think generally, libraries, public libraries is probably a safe place to get glasses, museums, things like that, schools. Yes. We've actually got some here at the BSA office, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think you could be viewing it here at the BSA office and everyone around you would not be holding you accountable to viewing it safely. I can actually see that happening behind me right now. People calling each other out not to look at the sun and to put their glasses on. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Christine asked a question that's literally next on our list, Aaron.
Uh-huh.
And Tracy. She said, how do you safely photograph the eclipse with your cell phone? Which I think is such a good question. The way I'm thinking of it is, what are the rules regarding photographing the eclipse?
Rules. Okay, so don't want to say a rule. I would not suggest taking a photo with your cell phone. It's just, you don't want to damage your lens, damage your camera. But I have seen a few tips on how to do it safely, and they're taking their solar lens and placing it over their camera. But keep in mind, so we take our cell phone. I'm going to steal your glasses.
Yes, of course.
You take a photo, but at that point, your glasses are off, right? So you're over here looking.
Yes, right.
You can't look through your screen. So if you have a second pair of glasses, you can make that happen. But don't, and I've seen this already happen a few times, and we're like over here. Make sure you have another pair of glasses when you.
That's so smart.
Don't look directly at it.
So it could technically hurt your camera.
It can hurt your camera. So if you have a fancy camera, I wouldn't suggest that. Or even with your cell phone. I mean, cell phones are expensive. You don't want to ruin your camera. A lot of individuals are also looking through their phone, trying to get that photo, but then they take their glasses off. So I would just live in the moment, right?
Yes.
You can't photograph everything.
Right.
That's my safety recommendation. Wear your glasses, keep your glasses on, and not try to get that perfect picture for Instagram. Or
I actually have some experience with that, Tracy. I was down in College Station last fall, and there was a partial eclipse at that time, and I tried to photograph it. And the same experience when you're holding it up, and I tried to use the lens thing, but the sun is still there. And I eventually just say, you know what, I'm going to give up. It's just, let's just enjoy the clips and watch it. Our friend Michael Roytek, our photographer, just gave us this. This is kind of a cool thing, a photo filter that is made specifically.
Awesome.
Now, the tricky part about this that I've learned from experience, Gina, is that if you have your glasses on one, like with this, I can't see anything. So it's tricky now to try to hold this above your camera.
And with your hand.
Yeah, so maybe if you had a third hand or someone to help you out, that would be great.
You can just direct them.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on. Yeah. It might be best just to watch the dang eclipse.
Yeah, and there's tons of people taking photos officially, right? You can go to the internet.
Right here, right now.
Yeah, right. So, we've got one right there.
You can't get better than that, right? You and I here with my iPhone 14 it won't compare.
My iPhone 12 definitely will not compare. But Michael Roytek, our professional photographer,
he's using
I
one.
don't know what he's got, but yeah,
he's using one of
job.
these, by the way, and he is also not. His hands are not so full. People are recognizing him in the background with his hat. He's also holding those around him accountable to, put on your glasses, and I appreciate that.
That's the biggest safety tip, right? So as a parent, if you are around kids, make sure that everyone is using their glasses, right? We often forget we're busy, we're in the workday here. Make sure that you are using that safety equipment.
Viewing season. My husband is at home with our toddler. I just saw a great friend of the BSA, Effie, watching with her toddler.
Thanks for
well,
watching,
he's not
Effie.
a toddler anymore. Now he's Cub Scout age.
Used to be a toddler.
But you do have to hold your kids accountable because they're probably liable to look up there, which I have a question about because I've heard. Don't just put the glasses on and think you can just look at the eclipse for 30 minutes. Look at the sun for 30 minutes, right? You need to give your eyes a break.
Yeah, every few minutes, take a break, right? It's a good standard practice. They say 2 minutes. So 2 minutes is a long time in my world. So glance up, take a break, take a pause, and then you can go back up and look again.
And I feel like for the most part, when people are going about their days on a normal day, you would never look up at the sun, right? It's too bright. You can't even do it. But for whatever reason, obviously on today, people are tempted to look up. That is the best advice. Don't look up at the sun unless you have glasses. And somebody pointed out in the comments again, a great way to view the eclipse is looking at the ground and seeing the shadows and things like that. Gina, we're already, I think, getting a little bit of a shadow effect on the ground.
Yeah, look at
here.
it. You can see on screen.
I might walk over here in just a minute and go check that out. But we are definitely getting to the point here where, it's looking good. It's happening right now, just like they said it would. It's happening right on schedule.
Tracy, before we have to let you go, just a couple more questions. Sunscreen and water.
Of course, anytime you're outdoors, get that sunscreen on, get that, ensure you're being hydrated.
That's
another thing. That's another thing people probably don't necessarily think about, right?
No.
When you're going to the pool, you're outside all day, you think about sunscreen and water. But when you're watching the eclipse outside all day, maybe you don't think about it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that. So get that sunscreen on, drink that water, make sure you're covered, reapply if you're spending a few hours outside. I know I'm only going to be out here an hour, but I still put sunscreen on today. It's easy, right? You're in the sun, put sunscreen on. So.
Right. We're just coming out of winter. So a lot of us, I think, especially are not, I mean, we should be putting on sunscreen all winter, but some people haven't been because they've just been staying indoors. So just don't forget that today.
You might not think about it because it's not that hot, right? It still feels nice and cool outside.
I'm over here wearing a vest, right? But it's sunny. We haven't seen the sun in a few
the
days.
temperature's going to drop a degree or two. So.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It is. Yeah.
Okay. This is my favorite question. And the answer might be like, no, we've covered it. But is there something else that we're not thinking about that we need to be keeping in mind when we're viewing the eclipse?
Yeah. Okay. So something we're not thinking about is how congested everything is right now. Everyone's coming outside. Everyone's walking around. Traffic is bad. I was watching the news this morning. They said 500,000 extra people are in Dallas alone, right? So what are your plans to get to and from your viewing place safely? What the people around you. So situational awareness is, essential right here. So I've definitely just be prepared, be planned, and have a schedule for what you're going to do today as you view the eclipse, because I think it's going to be a little chaotic.
That's a great tip, Gina, because think about wherever you're going to view the eclipse, you're one of several million people that are going to be viewing it, maybe hundreds of thousands in your area alone. Get there early. Don't try to rush out right away, if you know, right? Maybe save some time when you're leaving, right? Just like if you were going to a massive sporting event, it's kind of similar, right?
Yeah, definitely. Y'all are awesome. You guys covered all the bases. You don't even need me.
No,
that's not
really
true at all.
needed
That's
you.
not true at all.
Also, we
well,
would
guess
love
what?
you to come back.
All the things that we've been saying today, we got from Tracy. This is where we got all the information from.
No,
absolutely true. We're so glad you made the time to join us today. Is there anything else our viewers need to know?
Have a good time. Be safe. Enjoy it. Do everything you can to keep those glasses on and take breaks. So that's all I got for you, Gina.
Thank you so much.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us, Tracy. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Enjoy
you so
your
much.
viewing. I hope
Happy
you're
eclipse viewing.
Yes, happy eclipse
you.
viewing to you as well. Yes.
It is true. Like, these are the things, if you don't keep them in mind, you're not going to have a fun day. And we haven't tried to scare you in any way, but I will say,
well, it's so great to have Tracy and posts like that to remind us of some basic things. Like everything she says is common sense.
I know,
but you just don't think about it because it's
nice
such a right, exactly. And you don't think about it because you're all caught up in the moment, right?
NASA, the ones that just showed up at that camporee we talked to earlier.
Yes, they just showed up. No big deal.
They say, if you look at the sun just for a second with your naked eye, you could lose your sight forever.
Bad.
Not just like, oh, you're gonna have a bad headache, or it's gonna be, probably most likely you're gonna have a temporary injury, but you could lose eyesight permanently. So not worth it.
Don't look at it and think that you can just squint. Don't think you can put on regular sunglasses.
Oh gosh,
to look
no.
at it. That's another common thing. Eclipse glasses are like 500 times, I think, darker than regular sunglasses. There's a reason why they make those eclipse glasses. They're not just for show.
Yes, absolutely. Emerson, who we're going to have on in just a second to show his snack demo, is saying it's great advice. It's easy to forget in all the excitement. Keep your comments coming. We'd love to, feature you on screen here. And also we are featuring, soon we'll be featuring some social media posts using hashtag Scout the Eclipse. That's our hashtag for today. We'll be showing your Instagram photos, your tweets. What are they called if you're on X?
Your Zeets? I think Zeets, right?
Is that true?
I don't know.
Are they still called tweets?
I've
literally somehow never thought of that. A lot of you all are in the continent or the contiguous U.S. saying you're not going to get a view of this eclipse. And I have to say, I think you might be.
Respectfully think that maybe you're being pessimistic.
You think you're not,
right.
You know you're not in the path of totality, and you think you're not going to get a view. I think you will.
As a reminder, so Gina and I did this about 7 years ago, and I was the same way, Gina. I was like, in my memory, oh man, it was so cool. Like, the light change. It wasn't a total eclipse where we were, but it was definitely effective. Yes. And when we go back and look at the map from then, it was like 4 states north of us where it went by. I was like, I can't believe it didn't look like it was anywhere near where we were. But I'm telling you, the effects were cool. Now, Gina, is it just me, or is it a little bit cooler right now?
It's a little bit cooler.
Like
it's a little bit shadier.
Yes,
but it's not cloudy.
Right.
You can see our sun cam that's right behind us.
I feel like it's almost like it's starting to cool down a little bit.
NASA is also streaming from space. That's a great comment.
That's
And
very cool.
you know, I didn't even highlight this. I really should have. I wish I did at the beginning when Tracy was speaking. We actually just completed requirement 2 of the emblem. Did you know that?
No, we did?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
We did.
What is requirement 2?
It's describing how to safely view the eclipse.
I think we just basically covered it. There's lots of ways you can do it. Glasses, indirect viewer, looking at the ground and the shadows, and you can see, Gina, here, the shadows are already looking a little bit unique and cool. It's happening literally right now, live as the eclipse passes overhead of us. The main #1 rule when it comes to describing how to safely view the eclipse, don't look at it directly without any sort of protection.
So in 3 minutes, we're going to do our eclipse snack demo. Right after that, we are going to be going live with some scouts who are seeing the eclipse. I think that they're going to be some of the first people in the United States to see the eclipse, and the Texas Southwest Council at the 2024 Eclipse Viewing Party. We'll be talking to them. Then we're going to quickly jump from there to the Capital Area Council for the total solar eclipse campout. So we'll be just kind of tracking that around. Aaron is so antsy to jump up and go look at the sun. He really wants to.
Maybe
so
I am.
I think we should let him for just a minute.
Thank you, Gina. I appreciate you letting me do that.
Go for
I'm
it.
going to go out. I'm going to give a live report maybe right over here.
You have about
minutes.
60 seconds.
Yes.
Yes. While he's looking at that, I used our indirect viewer that we made earlier, and I took a little video
Oh my goodness.
so that maybe we can see
Oh yes. Let's
what
see.
it looks like.
If we have to, we can also send it to behind the scenes Brian.
Yeah, maybe this isn't going to work. I see a lot of reflection.
I can kind of see it though. Maybe you can airdrop it to behind the scenes Brian too.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it's not as crisp as our official sun camera that Mr. Roytek is working over there, but you could see this was taken earlier, so it's also not as obscured as it was earlier. But one of the neat things too was that you can actually see the clouds going by, so it's demonstrating that pinhole camera technique.
That is so cool. I can't believe you were able to capture that.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can see there. I don't want to be down on the glasses because I think glasses are awesome, but my favorite way is definitely to like just view in the shadows. Like I can see it here on the ground right now. Just everything just feels different. Eric, have you ever thought about how animals are affected by that too? Like this might be signaling to them like the sun is setting.
Right.
We're going to talk a little bit about that
It
later.
might mess up their internal clocks and thinking it's nighttime.
Based on my conversation with the nature crew, that's exactly what happens for some animals. And then I was thinking, how does this affect pets and things? And they said it doesn't. They just sleep through it. They're just like inside chilling. They don't even know what happens for the most part, which I think is very funny.
We should have brought some pets with us today.
Just to see.
Yeah, they could have just been set up back here.
Hey, Aaron is very eagerly waiting to, I think, show what he's got to show.
Oh yes, it is getting darker.
Quickly, Aaron, you have 60 seconds.
You're muted, Aaron.
Aaron, you're muted.
You're muted.
He's letting us know that he can see the shadows on the ground starting to change a little bit. And it almost...
He's talking to himself over there to his phone.
Can you guys, do you read me now? Do you read
yes,
me?
hurry.
The ground is already, the shadows on the ground are already changing a little bit. You can see the little crescent shaped. The eclipse here, as you can see from Michael's camera, is about halfway through totality. I'm going to look up at the sun right now, Gina. Yeah, I would say it's about halfway there. It's very, very cool. Reporting to you live from the parking lot, about 30 feet away from you. I'm Aaron. Thanks for watching, everybody.
We'll be back with Aaron shortly. We have an awesome tutorial for you on deck. Before we run into this, I've got an important question. What are the best snacks to eat during the solar eclipse? Sun chips. Thank you, Noel, for that joke. Let's hop on over to Emerson.
My name is Emerson Polly. I am a Weeblo in Cub Scouts. There's a eclipse, a solar eclipse going on in America. So we wanted to make a cool, special little treat, mini solar eclipse pies. We're gonna get started with melting some butter, 1 stick, and a half stick. So I'm just gonna cut this stick of butter in half. Let's put it in the microwave. So, while that's melting, let's make our crust. We're gonna have some vanilla wafers, and double stuffed golden Oreos. Well, you don't have to have double stuffed. You can have just golden Oreos. So we're gonna have 2 cups of vanilla wafers, some golden Oreos. That's about good. Now we're gonna mash it up. Just keep mashing, just keep mashing. At this consistency, now we're gonna put some melted butter in. Make sure you don't burn yourself if the butter's hot. Now you need to use your pan to make sure that your batter doesn't stick onto your muffin pan. Now we're gonna spoon in the batter. Try not to get it on the sides. And then you're gonna hollow out your cups. Make sure there's no holes on the bottom. After that, don't forget to taste it. That's good. So now we're gonna put it in the oven. Oven open! At 350 degrees for 10 minutes. Now we are going to have 2 cups of milk. That's 2 cups. One can of sweetened condensed milk. Mix it. It's about good. We have some banana cream and French vanilla Jello pudding. Banana cream, French vanilla, and we're going to mix it. They should add a feature on the iPhone where you can smell or taste through the phone. Bluetooth to it, and it'll just automatically make you taste it. So I got a whisk because I need to get all the clumps out and whisk it until it's thick. It's pretty thick, and I don't see any clumps. So we're gonna put it in the refrigerator. Now, we're gonna take 1 pint of heavy whipping cream, or 2 cups. Wait, oh, I got it! So this is just 1 pint already, so I don't need to do any measuring. And then we have a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. I mean, it's powdered sugar. Everyone loves powdered sugar. Why don't we just, it's okay if we put a little bit more. And then we can start it. Now we're gonna fold in about 3/4 of the whipped cream. We put our pudding into our piper, and now we're going to pipe it into. So now we're almost done. We're gonna take our bananas and we're going to stick them on and press them down just a little bit. We're going to take an Oreo and we're going to spin it so that the cookie and the cream are separated. And then we'll take some whipped cream. We're gonna just dab it in. It will stick to our things. So the Oreo is actually the moon. And since it's a solar eclipse, this is the sun. So we're just demonstrating here in this dish how the moon blocks the sun in a solar eclipse. So this is the last one. So you can see how there's a little bit of whipped cream on them. It's moon dust. Now it's time to enjoy.
So great, Emerson. Thank you for sending that in and commenting along.
He's a superstar.
I don't want to hold him
amazing.
to this, but he is in the comments right now. So if you have questions, you can ask him. But I think he did such a thorough job. I don't really know if
We
have any questions.
so appreciate him and his family taking the time to record that for us. That was awesome. Very, very cool. And I'm starving now, by the way.
I am too. Darla said
I'm so hungry.
she loves this. She wants to make it with her girl soon. Reminder, Darla won a prize today by commenting. So she's keeping the commenting coming. You all please do as well. Y'all, this is the moment many of us have been waiting for. We have some scouts who are actually almost in the moments of totality right now.
So it is happening here in North Texas. maybe we're not quite to the moment of totality yet, but down southwest of us, they are almost there, and they have agreed to join us live. It's so nice for them. Let's welcome them onto the show. This is Scout from the Texas Southwest Council. Can you guys hear us?
Hey.
We have told them to just enjoy.
I was going to say they're a little bit distracted, and that's totally fine. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Yes, because the eclipse is about to happen.
It's showing.
Right where they are, so keep doing what you're doing.
We lost them. That's how excited they were about it. They were have to go view it. Isn't
Let's
that
go see
cool?
what it looks like. Yeah, so you guys are witnessing some folks who are witnessing the moment of totality as it happens. These are some of the first scouts in the United States of America to see it. What can you tell us? What are you seeing, guys? What do you see?
It's almost as big as a fingernail.
It's like literally so close.
But the cloud's covering it.
It's amazing.
95%.
So okay, they're maybe still a few minutes away. You guys keep doing what you're doing.
This is perfect.
Yes, but maybe just sort of describe to us. Does it feel any different there? Is it cooler at all?
There's a lot of clouds.
It's visibly cooler, and the wind chill is really getting to you. It was like 75 earlier today, but now that the eclipse is starting, it's dipping into the 60s, I would say.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like up here in North Texas, where we are, we're a few hours from you guys. It's already getting a little bit cooler here. You said it was cloudy. What's the cloud cover like?
It's fully cloudly. It's a pretty gloomy day, unfortunately. But when we see the patches, like there's holes in the clouds, that's where you can see the sun, and it's honestly great whenever you can see that.
It's amazing because it doesn't look particularly dark when we're looking at you on camera, but I have a feeling in the next few minutes it's going to get really dark for you all. What are you guys using to view the eclipse?
Sunglasses.
Eclipse glasses.
Eclipse glasses.
Yes, they're certified.
Not regular, but those are actually
those are really
because
cool.
they look like regular sunglasses. Mine are just cheap paper plastic ones. Hey, maybe guys, real quick, just tell us your first names and what troops and crews or wherever you're from.
I'm Ella, and I'm in Troop 42 and Venturing Crew 99.
I'm Cash, and I'm from Troop 1.
And I'm Ben, and I'm from Troop 363 out of San Angelo.
One of the moments I'm going to remember for life is when we said, just do what you want to do what you're doing, and you all jumped up and like I blinked and the camera was empty. Yeah. So keep doing
yes, please don't be afraid to look up at the sky. We certainly do not want to notice how they're putting on their glasses. Gina,
they're so good.
We just got finished covering eclipse safety. What do you guys see now? What does it look like?
Oh, it's so close.
Okay.
I think it's any second now. There's a hole in it. I would say
It's like 97%.
Can you see the sun through the clouds when you're wearing your glasses?
I don't need the glasses anymore.
Yeah, you do need the glasses.
Keep the glasses on just in case, maybe just to be safe, guys. Keep the glasses on.
There are people who say you can take them off during true totality. I say don't do that. It's too hard to know if you're looking at true totality. Be careful with
taking them off. We've got some folks here gathering outside our office here, and they're getting a safety briefing as well.
Yes.
Hey, I know we're all excited about the eclipse. Again, we're coming live from Camp Fawcett. Have you guys been there all weekend?
Yeah. We're cool to do this.
Yeah.
Nice. We're not going to tell anybody.
I bet your teachers are probably okay with it. It's for a really good reason, I would say.
Tell them that Gina and Aaron said it was okay, and they'll know us.
Send us something. We'll sign it. We'll write
sign your permission slip.
Yeah.
What else have you been doing this weekend?
You can look at it.
Oh, I can see it.
Feel free to look.
Like a spider silk thread.
It's so exciting.
Hey, while they're looking, just a quick shout out to Devin, who has done multiple tech checks with us and is making this happen right now and making sure those scouts there on the ground are keeping their eyes safe. Big shout out to Devin. Thank you so much. He's the behind.
And they all have to pretend to like Devin too. Very, very cool.
No, they do.
What do you guys see now? How's it looking? How's it look?
We've had cloud burst, and then there'll be an open area, and it looked pretty promising at about 11:30, but kind of clouded up in the last 5-10 minutes.
You know, I wonder if the clouds are affecting how light it is there, because it feels like it's getting substantially darker here than it looks like in your video, and you all are further into it than we are, which is amazing.
Yeah, it looks like it's like at 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night.
Oh wow!
I think Devin's phone is really good, and his camera is adjusting and lightening it up for us, so it looks like it's brighter than it really is. How would you guys describe the level of darkness, brightness? Does it feel like a regular day to you guys right now?
It feels like a rainy day.
Okay.
Yeah, like thunderstorms.
You guys, by my scientific calculations, are still 6 or 7 minutes away, I think, from the moment of totality. Tell me, when you look around, how many other folks are there, and what are they all doing right now?
Looking at the sky.
Yeah, we have about 3 dozen before today, and I think we got about
Another dozen.
70.
we got
70?
70 more supposedly.
How did you get your eclipse viewing glasses? Were those provided there at the camp out? Did you order those ahead of
Got
time?
them online.
Ah, very
I got mine at the camp out.
They look very cool. Those actually look a lot cooler than my glasses. And I'm here to report it's getting darker here, Gina, as we speak. So I know it's getting darker there too.
You can see that our little live sun cam right here is how it looks. Yours is further along than
a
this.
little bit further along.
Are people viewing using like the indirect viewers too? Anybody out there with like the serial boxes and stuff?
We're looking. Yeah,
True.
they got a break in. Every time there's a break in the clouds, they need to take advantage of it, and we support that 100%. Gina, good job, guys. Can you describe what you're seeing?
Oh, it's like
so
so
thin.
thin. It's like 99%. I can barely see
It looks like fire, like just a thin stream of fire, like I don't know, like liquid.
It's
like
like a
all
bit of
around.
a halo, sort of.
It's the Ring of Fire, Gina. We're seeing the
Wow.
Ring of Fire. We're going to see it here in another 10 or 20 minutes or so here.
It looks like when the annular eclipse was here in San Angelo.
Yep.
When we got to view that, it was about as thin as the annular eclipse on all sides. So it's so close, and I'm super excited.
We are being joined live by some scouts from the Texas Southwest Council at their 2024 Eclipse viewing party. What's the name of the campsite where you guys are at?
Camp Fawcett.
Camp Fawcett. It
Camp Fawcett.
looks very, very cool, and they are just minutes away from maximum totality. They are right in the line, Gina, and they were so nice of us to join us live. And we have told them multiple times. And again, guys,
Just look at
at
it.
any point you feel the need to look up, put your glasses on first,
You too, Aaron.
but then do it. And, thank you, Gina,
You too,
because I may
Aaron.
have to run over here and go.
I'll hold down the
myself,
fort.
yes.
Heather says she's there with her 3-year-old. They're watching, and the 3-year-old says it's the moon, not the sun. She just can't wrap her head around that
The
that is
fact
not
it's
the sun.
sun.
But
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, it is, right?
It is the moon. The moon is closer, obviously.
It's
Yes.
getting darker.
Oh,
It's getting
it got a
super
lot
dark.
darker.
Y'all look. Y'all enjoy it.
Yeah, please look
Just
up at the
Tell us what you're
sun now.
seeing.
And I also want to hear you. We just got a report from a viewer in Austin. Are you guys hearing anything different
Oh.
as far as the sounds? Are you hearing any insects or anything like that?
Yeah.
No, I mean the birds are still singing, but I don't hear any insects anymore.
It'll be interesting to see if it happens here in the next few minutes. I agree, Kevin. Great job, scouts. And I really like the live view of the sky. Now it does look like it's kind of cloudy there, but guess what? It's kind of cloudy here too, and it's still pretty cool. You can still see.
It's getting dark.
Yep.
It's
Our
dark.
screen is getting
It's
dark.
so
Certainly
dark. It got
dark.
so dark.
Wow. Oh yeah, I see. We're seeing the view of your
There's
sky.
no shadows anymore.
The shadows have disappeared. It's like it's 8:30 at night right now.
So yeah, it went from 7:30 to 8:30. You know, there in just the last few minutes.
Okay, put yourself in the shoes of like an animal or something. Let's say you had no idea there was an eclipse today. What would you be thinking?
I'd be ready to
The
come
sun's
out.
going away. It's nighttime already.
Yeah, that's what they used to. Imagine,
Oh, it's so close.
Wow.
Imagine living thousands of years ago. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, and how freaked out you would be if you didn't know this would happen.
Direction, we'll be able to see totality.
It's getting so dark.
I think they are.
Oh, it's so dark. It's dark. It's so dark.
It's like 9 o'clock.
Totality.
We are visiting live with some of the first scouts in the United States to see
It's so dark
maximum
out.
totality, and their
9
reaction.
o'clock at 1:30 in the afternoon.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely getting darker. We can barely see them, Gina.
Check out their reactions. Yeah, I like, a lot of the planning ahead of this. People are like, we're just going to be looking at this black
There's
video.
no more
It's
noise,
like,
there's
that's
no sound
actually
except
pretty
for
cool. When will we ever get to see that
Exactly,
happen while we're
yes.
watching? And the sun, just in case you didn't know that there was an eclipse going on today, the sun has not set where we are reviewing this video right now. They're just in the midst. They're right in the path of
It looks
totality.
like it's basically sunset where they are.
Legitimately, some of the first people in the contiguous U.S. I think the whole U.S. to see the eclipse.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the path of
Guys,
totality.
it looks dark from our end. Is it dark out there?
It's so
it's
dark.
so dark.
It is dark. It is 9 o'clock at night right now.
So we've gone from like
Wow.
7:30 to 9 o'clock at night here in the last 2 minutes as far as how it looks out there.
I'm sure if we had like automatic street lights, they would have turned on.
No, the bathroom lights. The bathroom lights have turned on.
Some of the lights at the camp
They're
they're
like
saying
auto.
have turned on. Yeah, some of the lights have turned on. The automatic lights with the electric sensors have turned on. What about any sort of sounds, guys? Does it sound different?
Birds are gone. Birds are
The
gone.
birds have silenced,
They're
Gina.
asleep. They're all asleep.
Yep, you
They
can
can
only
all-
hear a bunch of people.
So if you notice, the birds are in a much better mood for the rest of the day. It's because they got a little nap
They
in.
took a little nap. We all could use a little bit of nap
Yeah.
sometimes in the middle of the day.
We're going to talk with the nature crew later about how plants and animals react during a total solar eclipse. And I just talked about this with Eric, but if you're wondering how your pets are going to react if they're indoors, the answer is they don't even know what's happening.
Oh my gosh.
Our dog. Poor dog.
Oh no.
Oh,
It is definitely getting darker and cooler here.
Those kids.
You are hearing authentic reactions from scouts down with the Texas Southwest Council who are viewing the eclipse. Let's take a look at the kids real quick. Devin, yeah, we can barely see you guys. It looks really, is it really dark there? It looks so
Yeah,
dark.
it's really dark.
It's, like, seriously.
See, this is what I want to say to people who are worried about the cloudiness ruining your experience.
Exactly.
It gets dark. It's going to get dark.
I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
the clouds make it better because the sun like reflects the light throughout all the clouds and makes it. But
Yeah.
like when it goes silent, it's much more like pronounced effect. It's really
I
awesome.
agree. I totally agree.
If you're just tuning in and you're wondering why we can't see the people we're talking to, it's because they are experiencing basically, I think, the moment of totality down in Southwest Texas. Guys, we're gonna let you go enjoy the rest of the
Thank you.
eclipse. Hey,
Thank
thanks so much
you.
for joining us today. Appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, now we're going to jump over
We're gonna-
to another camp. We are going to the Total Solar Eclipse camp out in the Capital Area Council in just a minute if we can connect with them.
So,
we're working on that.
It is, yeah, we're doing this live show. And as we said earlier, there are lots of people gathered at these locations. So we don't know yet exactly. Some people might have trouble connecting, things like that. We're going to work through it.
Okay, you across the United States are going to be seeing this eclipse. We urge you, take pictures, post on Instagram, #ScoutTheEclipse. It's only going to show up on our feed that we're going to feature later today if your Instagram is not private. So you have to make sure it's not private, even if you just temporarily take it off of that if you're comfortable, just so we can feature some of your photos. Oh, I think we actually have at least just a couple. #ScoutTheEclipse. I know some of you are hours away from seeing, well, honestly, none of you are probably hours away, but an hour away from
Right.
seeing the eclipse. But it's going to be rapidly passing at this point. We'd love to see some of your photos. I see a picture of my daughter, actually, wearing solar eclipse glasses.
How did that happen?
She's at home with her grandma and her dad, and they are like all about this today.
She is cute, Gina.
She's cute. We'll
she's
show it at some
adorable.
point. We don't have to
She's
rush it now,
adorable.
but how exciting to get to see that. I also see a view pretty familiar to us right now, which is our scout statue right here in front of the Scout BSA headquarters.
Maybe I'll go real quick if I could walk out there. Gina. Oh, there's
And
right there. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
very
we'll
nice. Yep.
we'll try to show that at some point.
Yep.
Right now, we're trying to very quickly. We'll just do a quick check-in with the Capital Area Council here in a second. But behind the scenes, Brian has kindly put up our social wall real quick so that we can see this awesome.
Here we go. Now look at that cutest little girl in the top center there.
Look at all these pictures. They're great. Keep these coming. That's a lot of photos. There are a ton of you viewing. We want to see your photos. So use #ScoutTheEclipse on Instagram so we can see them. I don't know, Brian, when you click into those, do they get bigger or no? That social wall?
Yeah.
We're trying this out in real time. Oh yeah. No, that's okay. We'll get back.
I think we might be joined by some guests now, Gina. Now it's weird. We can't see them. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, guys, we can hear you.
It's so funny. We can't see you. Tell us where you are. Where are you?
So we are now in totality, and
How exciting.
we're located at Smiling V Scout Ranch.
We are visiting with some scouts from the Capital Area Council. What was the name of the scout ranch?
Smilin' V Scout Ranch.
Smilin' V Scout Ranch. They are. Look at that. I mean,
y'all just enjoy it. We just want to hear your reactions. Don't worry about us. We'll just stay on with you guys in a few minutes, but feel free to shout out what you're seeing. Just don't even worry about us.
Well,
dark enough, but it's good.
What are y'all seeing?
We are lucky enough to be joined by an astronaut, Colonel Mike Fossum, who's also a distinguished Eagle Scout, and Colonel Fossum, for the folks who are watching here across the country, this idea of totality, describe it.
Well, it's hard to believe how dark it is. It's like almost before dark. The moon is completely covering up the sun right now, and there's just a ring of fire, the corona around the sun, that's providing any light whatsoever. And so we went from kind of gently dimming light to all of a sudden all the way down to deep twilight. I'm so excited to be here myself, but I'm really excited to have all the scouts that are here and the families that are here to experience this together.
Truly fantastic, and we are all kind of taking it in here as we go along, and it has been a busy weekend of activities, but this is obviously the headliner.
Look up.
Well, we did not expect this guest to be happening. So cool.
Thanks for letting us know about that, Charles. Appreciate it.
No.
Oh my gosh. It's a once in a lifetime experience.
Awesome, been hanging out there all weekend.
And it was supposed to be storming. All the predictions said we wouldn't be able to see it at all. I was just hoping that as it went dark, all the scouts would at least get some idea that the moon is in the way of the sunlight right now. So from space, you could see this. I mean, what it looks like is a big dark spot. Not a hard spot because it's diffused, right? Right in the middle, it's really dark, but then it spreads out and it's not completely blocked out, the umbra, and so, but you see. So we're just right in the shadow of the
so
moon.
We knew that might be happening.
It's coming
connection
across the United States, and you can actually the cloud.
It also might wreak havoc with cell phone signals.
Yeah, we've heard that.
So
maybe on it, you could see some prominences. You could see some.
It is completely pitch black, it looks like, at the Smiling V Scout Ranch in the Capital Area Council down near Austin, Texas. They're just a few hours south of us, so that means they're a few minutes ahead of us, Gina, where we are.
You
I can tell you this,
that move.
and I can tell you this. You see how bright the building looks behind us? That's misleading. It's really not that bright here. That's our
with magnification.
We just try to pause every time we can hear their audio and let you all hear it. But again, how cool that we got to actually, I have been just really wanting to ask an astronaut, what does an eclipse look like from space? We actually got the answer just now.
We're not
totally unexpected.
expecting that, but a distinguished Eagle Scout astronaut as well. That is so cool.
Mike Fossum on.
By the way, Mike Fossum's here. No big deal. That was really awesome. And as you can see, pitch black there. And I don't know if the eclipse might be wreaking havoc with their signal, or maybe it's a tough area anyway. But thanks so much to them for joining us. We're going to see. We're trying to reconnect if we can, but we'll probably
because there's a lot of excitement brewing here. And if they want to send us anything after the fact or videos, anything, we'd love it. We'll show it through. We're going to be live here for a while. Oh my gosh,
Gina, let me just point out some of our floodlights here in front of the BSA National Headquarters have turned on. That's how dark it is where we are.
Look at that.
There's Michael Wojtek's. Gina.
Okay, give me the glasses, Aaron.
Super. Yes, thank you. Finally, I've been trying to convince Gina to go out and take a look. We're sitting under the tree, so we don't have a great view of the sun from where we're sitting. Gina is going to go out to look at it, but we are just a few minutes from totality here. And I will tell you this. It is gotten quieter here. I think it's quieter, isn't it, Gina?
Oh, yeah. The people have stopped talking as loud.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the people. I was thinking maybe the birds and the bugs.
The cars have stopped. It is weird. It is an effect on all of us, right? It is a natural effect on all of us because I don't hear people driving.
I feel like I need to talk a little quieter.
Yeah. The people have all stopped driving. The people have all stopped hubbubbing behind us. It is affecting us. Look how dark
you can see from our camera. Yes. And again, the building behind us is really not as bright as it looks there. This is more.
I feel like we look like we're at a baseball game with a stadium light on us because there is like an auto sense light that turns on.
Exactly. I'm gonna step out real quick.
Yeah, go for it. This is incredible. Oh, okay, well, I gotta come apparently over there. So, see y'all. Just wait. We had a video first. I left it totally empty. Oh, go for it, Aaron. Talk.
Yeah, so this is what we're seeing right now at the BSA headquarters in North Texas. You can see it is incredible. It is, I don't know how good you guys can see that where you are. It is remarkable. We've just got this for maybe a few more minutes, and it really is stunning to be able to see the moon perfectly placed over the sun. I'm looking at it now without my eclipse glasses because it's so dark. You can just barely see the ring around the eclipse. This is one of the more, Gina, you need to come out here and look at this, Gina.
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing the reactions online, and I'm hoping you can hear me. I just want to say what you're doing right now, everyone who's reflecting on what they're seeing and feeling during the eclipse, you are meeting requirement 3 of our emblem requirement. So we have walked through steps 1, 2, and 3 of the emblem requirements. And as you reflect on how you feel, you are meeting requirement 3 of the BSA Solar Eclipse Patch Emblem requirements. Pretty cool. Check out I'm calling it our Roytech Cam, Sun Cam. People are saying, no wonder people were traveling there. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I would add to that, describe what you're feeling. I can totally see why that would be one of the requirements, because just looking up here at it myself, it's kind of overwhelming, Gina. It's just so remarkable. So I would love to hear from folks who are seeing this in the comments. Describe to us how you're feeling, because I can tell you right now, looking at it myself, it is truly remarkable.
Again, this is requirement number 3 of the emblem that we're talking through. A lot of people are sharing how they're feeling. There's also a lot of people viewing, because this is kind of the best view of the eclipse you're going to get. We're so lucky to see it. It has taken over. Like when behind the scenes, Brian says, you got to come over here. And he's okay with me leaving the camera. I know it's got to be a pretty big deal. Wheel. It is total prize totality right now. So we're feeling like giving away a prize we're going to give one of each kind of prize away right now. Just quickly, I'm going to run through these. We're going to give an emblem to Berna Herrera, a hammock to Lou Cook, a tent to Tracy Hapstack, and a t-shirt to Amy Westfall. You all are taking home a prize. Keep those comments coming. That's just a little bonus for watching with us here during Totality. Aaron, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm standing here next to our good friend Eric, and we're just kind of marveling at it. It's probably been a couple of minutes. You can actually see a couple of stars. And I think, now the sun is starting to come out the other side. We're going to have to put our glasses back on, Gina. Wow, look at that. It's just now literally the sun, the moon is passing away. The moment of totality is ending as we speak. And now it's getting bright enough, where I can't really look at it. I'm going to turn off my camera, Gina, because I can't really look at it anymore.
That's fine. Yeah, it's definitely getting brighter here again. Maribel is making me laugh. She said it's about 10 minutes for totality there, so they're going to go back outside. Their boss even postponed their meeting by 15 minutes. Well, bosses, if you're watching, please postpone meetings by a few minutes so folks can see this. It's incredible. Can you see our sun cam as we are leaving that moment of totality, those minutes of totality? One thing that's always struck me about these eclipses is I think people think it's going to be just a flash in the pan and it's gone. You have some time to really look and marvel and enjoy this experience. I do now really notice that 2017 did not at all feel like that.
Yeah, that's truly remarkable. We have just passed the moment of totality here in DFW, and it is pretty remarkable. You can look at I see now the safety reasons, because you can look at the eclipse fine without your glasses, but really, as soon as that sun starts coming around, you can feel some discomfort in your eyes. That's a signal to look away, which is exactly what I did. There's just a tiny sliver of the sun viewable now, but it's already too bright to look at without your glasses. So that's great advice there. That moment where you can look at it without glasses, very, very brief. It starts quickly and it ends quickly, and when it's over, stop looking at it.
Do we want to quickly jump in there with the Smilin' V Scout Ranch, or is that
see how our connection is with Smilin' V?
All right, we'll get back on then.
No pressure. We're just jumping in here to see.
Oh, I think we lost him.
We lost him.
Maybe it's
That's
still
okay.
still a little havocy with cell phone signals down
That
there.
was pretty cool though. Like,
It was really cool to see their reactions,
I'm not
right?
worried about, or I haven't particularly been worried about the connection, the interview quality. Like, just seeing everyone's reaction, you could hear all those scouts screaming in excitement, and it was just totally pitch black. That was cool.
I wanted to scream in excitement as well, only because I'm a professional Facebook Live broadcaster. Was I able to control my emotions, Gina? Because it was very, very cool, a very, very neat thing to see. Really kind of an overwhelming phenomenon just to see something like that. So unusual and so unique.
Our friend Bob echoes that. It just passed through totality in Georgetown, Texas. It was stunning. And I think it's important to emphasize this point, an experience not to be missed. If this is headed your way, make sure you're making plans.
You're live right now.
We do have live video.
Yes.
You can see that it's lightened up already down there
Wild.
in Capillary Council. It goes by pretty quick, Gina. The moment of totality, it's just a few minutes, and it is already brightening up here considerably. It got really, really dark, and it got really, really quiet. And I can already hear the people have come back to life.
The cars are driving again.
Cars are driving by. Soon these floodlights are going to go off right here in front of the building. And yeah, it goes by fast, but it is truly remarkable.
Rob says they were able to see Jupiter and Venus during totality. Clouds did cover Mars and Saturn.
I noticed that, Gina. There was what an amateur person like me would call a star, but I'm pretty sure it was a planet. I don't know if it was Jupiter or Venus that was right next to it. I know that because I checked out with my super geeky star gazing app last night, and I saw that there were several planets lined up right along with the moon and the sun. I don't know which planet I saw. It was probably Jupiter or Mars. I bet it was Jupiter, right? The biggest one. That would make sense.
Yes, we're about to toss to a really cool interview that you did here in just a second. We'll be able to put up our sun cam as that's going. But please keep these comments coming. During that totality, we did a totality giveaway. Amy Westfall,
Good job, Amy.
Herrera, Lou Cook, and Tracy Hapstack all won prizes. Also want to say, I'm never going to say this. I'm never going to say stop watching our live video, but when you are in those moments of totality, or you just need a glimpse of the eclipse, stop watching our live video for a minute. We will sacrifice, 15 viewers at a time for that. That's okay. Just make sure you come back, but only up to 15, and then I'm gonna have to stop saying that. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
So when you get in line, when you leave, watch the viewer. When it gets down too low, don't go if it gets past 15. You got to keep watching at that point.
That's right. Okay, Aaron, tell us a little bit about who we're about to get to see you when you talked with Dr. Nordgren.
Yes, Tyler Nordgren. That's Dr. Nordgren to you and me, Gina. He is a former scout who told me
Eagle Scout.
Not an Eagle Scout.
Oh, he's not?
A former scout
okay,
who developed a love for astronomy. Star Scout, I believe it was, yes. Who developed a love for astronomy when he was camping as a scout. He developed an interest in the night sky as a 12, 13-year-old boy. Gina, he had a really interesting story about the eclipse from his childhood that I can relate to, that you're about to hear. He was inspired by scouting to get into astronomy, and he was also inspired to make use of his artistic talents, because it's not really fair. Not only is he a scientist, he's an artist. You might recognize some of his work.
Definitely.
We're going to show you. He's done some work for the National Park Service.
If you've ever agonized in a National Park Service gift shop over posters, and you're like looking at some that are the night sky, you've seen his work.
Yes, yes. Very, very cool. His name is Dr. Tyler Nordgren, excuse me. And are we ready to play Tyler's video right now? Yeah, let's see what Tyler has to say. Now by Dr. Tyler Nordgren. He is an astronomer and used to be an associate professor of physics at the University of Redlands. Dr. Nordgren, thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's an exciting day. We're all very excited about the eclipse. You know a thing or two about the eclipse. In fact, you wrote the book literally about the eclipse. Tell me a little bit about the book. It was kind of written for the 2017 eclipse, but it certainly applies to 2024, I think, right?
It's called Sun, Moon, Earth: From Omens of Doom to Einstein and Exoplanets. And yeah, it's all about the history and the science of solar eclipses and how they've changed humanity down through the years.
Yeah, the history of solar eclipses. I would love to talk to you about that real quick. It's really fascinating. Here we are today. We're all kind of celebrating. We're all excited. Everybody's publicizing it. We're all going outside. It's very, very cool and fun. But it wasn't always that way. You can imagine in an ancient civilization how terrifying it might be, right? If all of a sudden it got dark. Tell us what you know about that.
So when you see a total solar eclipse, at the instant of totality, when the moon completely covers the sun turns black, the sky goes dark, the corona, this ghostly streamers come out from this black hole in the sky. It really is the most natural thing you've ever seen. And the first time I saw one, I knew the science of it, but the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And yeah, I could absolutely understand the terror that something like that would cause.
And there is some evidence that people kind of got freaked out a little bit. There's, I think in your book, you mentioned a pictograph where people have drawn pictures. What do we know about actually how people reacted?
So people have seen this all over the planet throughout human history. In China, for instance, thousands of years ago, those streamers, how those ghostly streamers of the corona appeared, had a prediction for the quality of the king. So you could imagine all sorts of palace intrigue over exactly what was going to be seen and what it meant. For other civilizations in India, an eclipse was a giant, immortal, bodiless head that would bite the sun and also the moon. And down below, if you wanted the sun to come back, you'd bang pots and pans and make a noise, and maybe you would startle it, and it would drop the sun from its mouth. In Northern European tradition, the Norse tradition, it was Loki's dogs that he'd set to attack the moon and sun. So all over the earth, you had people coming up with ideas to explain what was suddenly going wrong with this light-giving thing in the sky now turning black all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And then eventually we kind of figured it out. We kind of realized that, like you said, it looks unnatural, but it is natural. When did that sort of come about, Tyler? When did we kind of start to realize maybe this is actually kind of cool?
So one of the first Greek philosophers to propose what this was a fellow by the name of Anaxagoras in ancient Greece, who actually had the idea that what you were seeing were the play of light and shadow between the sun, the moon, and the earth. That a lunar eclipse is when the moon passes into the shadow of the earth cast by the sun, and that a solar eclipse was when the moon would pass between the earth and the sun. And the amazing thing about that is when you have that idea, first of all, it requires the sun, the moon, and earth to all be sort of physical objects. So no dogs or leopards or things eating the sun. But second, it meant that the sun had to be further away than the moon, which in itself is a revolutionary discovery. And that if both appear to be about the same size, which they do from the surface of the earth, then that meant that the sun being further away had to be larger than the moon. So that was incredible. And then by looking at how big the shadow was on the earth, so asking people where did they and did they not see the eclipse, you could actually figure out how big the moon had to be to cast a shadow of that size. And so what you're seeing there is the origin of science and suddenly learning about the size and distance to objects in the heavens, all based upon a total solar eclipse.
It's really fascinating. Everybody, we're joined again by Dr. Tyler Nordgren, who is an astronomer. He knows a thing or two about eclipses. And I would love to kind of, maybe you could explain it to me. Of course, I understand it. Let's maybe pretend that some of our audience doesn't. The path of the sun, the moon, the earth, they all kind of go on a path, and it kind of repeats itself, right? And every once in a while, an eclipse happens. But maybe you could kind of describe that pattern. Most, eclipses happen maybe more often than we realize, right?
Right. So we talk about seeing this total solar eclipse as a once in a lifetime experience. Well, that's not really true. It might be once in a lifetime if you never leave where you happen to be. So for instance, it's going over Dallas. So if you never leave Dallas, yeah, this is your one chance to actually see it. But eclipses happen, a total solar eclipse happens about once roughly every year and a half, so about every 18 months somewhere on Earth. And there are people that chase these eclipses all over the planet. I myself have seen about 10 of these at this point. What happens is you get a solar eclipse when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun. That happens at a phase of the moon called new moon. Well, we don't get a solar eclipse at every single new moon because that would mean we'd have a solar eclipse every single month. The reason we don't is because as the moon goes around the Earth, the orbit around the Earth is tilted slightly with respect to the Earth's orbit around the sun. So for most months, the moon just passes harmlessly above or beneath the sun from our point of view. But twice a year, they line up at the moment of new moon and you get eclipses. Sometimes they're just partial, sometimes they're annular. That's when the moon's a little too far away from the Earth to completely block the sun. But about every 18 months, you get a total solar eclipse somewhere on Earth. The last time we had one here in the United States was 7 years ago. And it turns out that the paths of those two eclipses cross in Southern Illinois. So those folks, they got to see two total solar eclipses in 7 years. So yeah,
the lucky folks in Southern Illinois, very, very cool. If you're watching in Southern Illinois, let us know what you're seeing. That's awesome. And Tyler, not only are you an astronomer, by the way, I'm a little bit jealous. You're also an artist, and gosh, the artwork is really, really cool. There's a lot of eclipse-themed art that you do. Tell us how you got into that a little bit.
So I've always been interested in art. I drew as a kid. And when I was writing my first book about astronomy in the national parks, Stars Above, Earth Below, I wanted to have illustrations showing what it actually looked like to see the Milky Way over the Grand Canyon, for instance. And I didn't have money to pay for this. And so I thought, well, I can draw this. And so I started creating this artwork. And the idea was to give people a feeling of what it'd be like to travel to beautiful locations and see the stars, the Milky Way. Half the Park is After Dark was the theme of that poster campaign. But in working with the national parks, when there was an annular solar eclipse back in 2012 in a bunch of national parks out west, I created a whole series for the national parks. And I've started doing that for every single eclipse because many of them go through national parks. Grand Teton back in 2017, Hot Springs is getting it this time, and a bunch of other solar eclipses in the Ozarks, for instance. So it's a way of reaching out and communicating with parks, communities, people all across the country to give them a sense of what is this that's coming and why should I go see it?
Yeah, the artwork is really, really cool. Very kind of a retro style. Definitely encourage everybody to check that out. Tyler, you had kind of an interesting experience. I actually remember the 1979 eclipse. I'm old enough to remember that. And so what I'd love to do real quick, I'm going to tell you my story from 1979, and I want to hear your story. Okay. I was in third grade at the time. And my classroom was the only classroom in school that was not allowed. We didn't get to go outside and see it. So I could look out the window of my third grade classroom and see all my other friends looking at the eclipse. But our teacher, for whatever reason, wasn't that interested. They had their eclipse viewers, their shoe boxes and cereal boxes, and we just sat there doing arithmetic or whatever. So that's my traumatic memory from my childhood. What's yours from 1979?
So I was 4 years old, and I was in Portland, Oregon, where the eclipse was coming right over my house. Totality was right there. And I was interested in science. I wanted to be an astronomer, an astronaut. So I learned all about it. We did activities in school. But then the day of school, the day of the eclipse, they must have canceled school because for whatever reason, I was at home. My parents had to work, so I was at home alone. And all the news that I saw was, don't look at the sun, you'll go blind. So I thought there must be some special rays that would come out of the sun during an eclipse. So I hid in the house with the curtains drawn and watched it on TV. And I still remember just how dark the house got. But I was deathly afraid of turning around, going to the window and opening the curtains. And so that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book today. Is I wanted to do everything I could to make sure that no child was left inside during another eclipse.
Well, we definitely hope that all of you watching at home have a chance to get outside today, no matter where you are. Tyler, you went outside as a youth. You were a scout, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I made it all the way up through Star Scout, kind of appropriate for an astronomer.
And you were, so obviously at a young age, you were interested in the night sky and astronomy. Do you remember from scouting? Did you have an opportunity to do anything like that?
Oh yeah. I was a scout in both Oregon and up in Alaska. And in Oregon, I still recall campouts up in the Cascades near Mount Hood, stars all overhead, reflected in the lake that we were camped by. And when I was up in Alaska, it was a camp one winter that I recall seeing the Northern Lights for the first time. So I was just absolutely enthralled. I had the astronomy merit badge. And it was one of the formative experiences.
Yeah, the night sky is one of the best parts about camping, I think. What is the saying that you have? It's nighttime. How does it go?
So I say it's half the park is after dark.
Half the park is after dark. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Love that very much. Tyler, this has been great. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to let you go enjoy the eclipse on your own. I'm going to go check it out myself, but hopefully we'll see you again sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Loved that interview. We got a lot of really positive comments. I don't want to dilly-dally. We got to jump back into the action because this eclipse is still passing through
It's happening
the
right
United
now.
States.
Gina, it's literally happening as we speak.
Illinois. Let's bring in Illinois in the house.
Passed over us a few minutes. How are you guys doing?
How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good. We're doing great.
Tell us what you're seeing.
Love the hat.
We're seeing this really light white ring around some dark spots.
Protect your eyes.
Star ring around the moon, and we can see Jupiter and a couple other planets.
Well, I think they're in the moment of totality right now. Is it? Can you see the ring around the moon right now?
Yes. We can.
So they're at the moment of totality, which is really the only time you can watch it without glasses. Be careful, guys, because the sun's going to pop
moves.
out on the other side right away. Yeah.
Protect your eyes.
Tell us how it feels to see it. What are you feeling right now?
It's pretty amazing.
It feels very cool and cold.
Yeah, the temperature's definitely dropped.
Your hats are amazing. Tell us.
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about them. Who are you wearing?
I'm wearing my protective device from the aliens in case they come.
I decided to come with the aliens.
Yeah.
This feels very scouty.
It reminds me of almost playing with derby race, right? Where you can decorate a car or whatever, design a car as well as you'd like to. Guys, what are you hearing right now? Is it quiet there? Are you hearing any bugs or anything?
Are you hearing anything?
We've heard some birds chirping and some birds flying, but mostly what we can hear is the people around us enjoying the eclipse just as we are. Oh, there's a plane.
It's starting again.
Yeah.
Yep. They're gonna have to put their glasses on. Yep. You can see that's
good.
exactly what happened here. Yep.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, we want you guys to be safe. Don't look up without your glasses.
What did it feel like in that darkest moment? Like, what did you observe anything happening?
What?
We're back.
Yeah.
So it looks to me like the sun just came out the other side.
What? They're gonna answer.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
He's echoing the question to them, I think.
The aliens sadly didn't come.
Okay, that didn't happen. What did happen during those darkest moments? What did you hear? How did it feel? Tell us.
We felt a very windy breeze, and we heard some crickets and the birds.
The temperature definitely dropped.
You guys look like you're right on a beach.
Yeah, we're right on
the
waterfront at our camp.
Yeah, you are. We're visiting with scouts from Pine Ridge Scout Reservations, part of the Greater St. Louis area, Greater St. Louis Council.
You're in Illinois.
They're yes, yep, and they are celebrating 2024. It's the Pine Ridge Eclipse Fest 2.0.
Yeah, what was
Gina.
1.0?
1.0, I'm guessing, happened in 2017.
Correct.
Tell us, because this is one of the rare areas, Gina, that was in the path for both eclipses. So they got to experience the first eclipse. They guys, our guests here may be too young to remember that, but now they're in the path of totality again for the second eclipse. How cool is that? Tell me about the weekend, guys. What have you guys been doing all weekend?
What have you been doing all weekend?
I was at the first eclipse, and me and my dad worked the rappelling rope, so we've been there all weekend. And I don't remember this as much because I was only 7 when the first one happened, but it's definitely a cool experience to be able to see it again. We've been doing many very cool merit badges. For example, I've done space exploration, which we've designed space routes and created a house on the moon. It's pretty cool.
And you were here in 17 too, right?
Yeah, I was here in 2017. I was like 9 years old. I don't really remember. It's pretty foggy. this weekend's been fun, even though I've been pretty in and out of camp. But overall, it's been fun.
Despite the lack of aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am sad about that. I was hoping to show them my cool hat.
They would have been impressed. I'm definitely impressed by the cool hat. Hey, real quick, why don't you guys just say your names real quick so everybody can know who you are?
Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Ron.
And what council?
I'm from Three Fires Council.
Where at?
It's in Oswego, Naperville, that Illinois.
So Northern Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you are?
My name's Chris Banks. I live in Greater St. Louis Area Council in Heron, Illinois.
And?
I'm Adri Reynolds. I am part of Crossroads of America Council in Central Indiana and Fishers.
Ooh, a little traveling. Love it.
Yes.
Yep. We have folks from 12 different states, I think.
Yeah, we have them from Minnesota, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio, Northern, Central, and Southern Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana, Missouri,
Idaho.
Iowa, Idaho.
And they all converged on Pine Ridge Scout Reservation today. Do you guys are you guys off of school officially today, or just kind of unofficially off school today?
No, we got to be off of school, which was the greatest decision I think they ever could have made.
I think I agree with
I
that.
agree. I think it's absolutely a brilliant decision. Yeah, it would stink to be in school today.
What does the rest of the day look like? Is this it? Do you go home now?
Yeah, packing up and heading home.
Long drive home.
I bet you are exhausted.
Well, it was a fun experience at camp, so it's all worth it.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of folks commenting on how impressed they are with your scout spirit, and more specifically the eclipse spirit and your hats and things like that. But just kind of tell me about overall the excitement building up. Were you guys looking forward to this?
Were you looking forward to it?
Yeah, most definitely. Since we were here in 2017, I've been waiting to get back to this camp specifically, but also just to see the eclipse and keep building great memories and experiencing great with a great group of people.
Yep, my troop has been talking about this for so long now.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the crossroads since I was here back in 2017. But it was also better that I got to be a part of the planning process rather than just being a participant.
Oh, what does that look like? What did you plan? Or what did being part of the planning process look like?
Since this weekend we had our big camporee, and so I helped prepare the camp and help plan where things were going to be to make the scouts have a better time. Oh yeah, helped with radio.
Requirement number 3 for earning the eclipse emblem is to share how you felt. Can you guys just real quick before we let you go, share how you felt during the eclipse?
Just grateful to be a part of it and be able to see something so cool that doesn't come across too much in a lifetime. So just excited and grateful that I get to see something like that.
Yeah, it was very great to actually see it again and be able to remember it, since 7 years has gone by very quickly.
Yep, I'm very thankful for this opportunity we have to see the amazing eclipse, and it's pretty cool.
And share it with all of you folks.
Yeah.
Eclipse 3.0.
We're so lucky. Is there anything else you all want to share before we let you go? Are there any people at home or watching you would love to give a shout out to?
We're ready for 2045.
There you go. There you go. Me too.
I love you, Mom.
Aw.
I hope
Yeah, same
Whole
with
family's there.
Shout out. I guess shout out the NASA folks. You guys do a lot of hard work.
Well, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hey, enjoy the rest of your day, all right?
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you guys. Great job. That was so awesome to be joined by scouts from the 2024 Pine Ridge Eclipse Fest. Gina, it's called 2.0. As Mr. Nordgren, Dr. Nordgren told us during our talk, Illinois is one of the few places in the country where you had 2017 went this way and 2024 goes this way. And they intersected right over Illinois. Those guys are so lucky.
Lucky folks.
I wish I was in a line Illinoisian.
I know. Everyone, please join the conversation of today. Use hashtag Scout the Eclipse on Instagram. We're adding those to our story. We'll take a look at those soon. We're about to roll into a very special guest who sent a special message for today. After that, I just wanted to let you all know we're going to talk to 2 more sets of scouts. We're going to talk to the scouts who are seeing the last few of the eclipse in the contiguous United States. And then we're going to talk to some scouts who saw it earlier today just to see, hey, how'd they feel? What's going on now?
Yep. As we speak, the eclipse is flying across the United States of America. We're going to keep you posted here. We've got another couple hours, Gina, of live coverage. But real quick, let's cut to this special message we received from kind of a VIP, a really nice guy who was nice enough to share a recorded message with us. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hi, I am NASA astronaut Kjell Lindgren. I'm an Eagle Scout, class of 1988. I am an assistant scoutmaster, and I am absolutely delighted to be here with you today, sharing my insights and experience and excitement about the upcoming Great North American Eclipse. So even as an astronaut, I can tell you that myself, my colleagues in the astronaut office, and all of us here at NASA are absolutely excited about this upcoming eclipse. One, because of its proximity. So it's crossing over North America and makes an event, an amazing event like a total solar eclipse, accessible. So it's within driving distance and doesn't require a great deal of travel to experience. And the experience itself is one that I've never had the opportunity to be a part of. And so I'm really excited just to see what it's like. We've had some partial eclipses, and those are absolutely amazing. Darkening sun, to see the weird shadows on the ground, and so to experience a total eclipse is going to be really cool. So as a NASA astronaut, I've had the privilege of living and working on the space station and the opportunity to see amazing phenomena on a daily basis, to look out the window, to see lightning, light up lightning storms on the ground, to see the aurora just wriggling across the face of the Earth. And so for scouts that are participating in, and communities that are participating in this Great North American Eclipse, the first message I would have is to be safe. So of course, the sun is incredibly powerful. You don't want to look at it with the naked eye, and you don't want to use subpar equipment. So make sure that you're using some kind of a filter, eclipse glasses, just to protect your vision, so that that you can remember this day with a lot of fondness and without an injury. So good protection when you're looking at the sun is incredibly important. The other takeaway from experiencing this phenomenon is that you're participating in something that that civilizations dating back thousands of years have recognized as just an amazing event. The sun darkens in the middle of the day, and it's something that you're going to get to experience, and all the weirdness and wonder that accompanies that. So I hope that you take some time to learn about eclipses and what they really represent in terms of our astronomical positioning with the sun and the moon. And the other thing is to read about observers and scientists and astronomers that have used eclipses from ancient days all the way till now to learn more about our sun, about the moon, and about the Earth. The solar atmosphere, the Earth atmosphere, there's a lot to learn from an eclipse and a lot to be amazed by as you experience this incredible phenomenon. As an astronaut living and working on the International Space Station, looking back at the Earth through the cupola windows, I definitely developed a sense of the vastness of space and the position of Earth within that vastness of space. The Earth is a single distinct entity, limited and surrounded by a very thin atmosphere, surrounded by this inky blackness of space. And it really gave me a sense of the fact that it is a discrete element, that everything that we know and love, everything that we need, water, air, is contained within that planet. And gave me a sense of the need for humanity to take better care, to be better stewards of the Earth and all that it offers. And I think that to this eclipse, if you really think about the astrodynamics and the positioning of the moon and the sun and the Earth, to cause this total eclipse and the shadow that is being cast on the surface of the Earth by the moon, you gain an understanding that these are very distinct entities. The sun, the moon, the Earth are very distinct entities within this vastness of space, and gives you a recognition that the Earth itself is an isolated and small but incredibly unique planet, and our home, our spaceship Earth. And I hope that it gives you a sense of the need to be better stewards of the Earth and all that it offers. And Scouting provides that for us. It provides the conservation opportunity to do conservation projects and education, the opportunity to learn about outdoor ethics and to practice those as we connect with the outside, the outdoors, with the environment when we backpack and when we camp. So I hope that this event is an amazing experience for you, but also helps you to reflect on the uniqueness of the Earth and our need as Scouts and as a human species to take care of it. Well, I love that people are so enthusiastic and excited about the upcoming eclipse. It's a unifying event that people are gathering in places to experience it and to participate in this wonderfully bizarre astronomical occurrence. I love that it's getting people outdoors. And then finally, I'm hopeful that it gets people interested in the science, to learn more about the sun and the Earth and the moon, and the relative positioning that creates this phenomenon and the things that we can learn from it. It's going to be an amazing experience. I hope that you all enjoy yourselves, and remember, don't let the eclipse be the last thing that you see. Make sure that you're wearing appropriate eyewear to protect your eyes so that you have a lot of fun. Thanks a lot.
How did he say it so well? Don't make the eclipse the last thing you see. Wear that eye protection. Check out our pinhole viewer tutorials. We're joined by a special guest for a special couple minutes here. We're about to take a look at some viewer submissions that are meeting, I think it's requirement 4 of the emblem, and some illustrations and stuff. So we're very lucky to have Kevin joining us, who's our art director for Scout Live. Yeah.
Kevin, yes, thanks for joining us, man. Thank
you. So going back to those requirements and zooming, I'm going to read it exactly here. Wow. We've been walking through each of the steps of earning the patch, the emblem, and we've talked about locating a site suitable for viewing the eclipse. We've described how to safely view the eclipse several times. We have been and will continue to discuss what we saw and felt during the eclipse. And right now, this is like I would say this is one of the heavier parts, workload-wise, parts of earning the emblem. So it suggests that Cub Scouts discuss what a solar eclipse is. Scouts BSA draw a diagram of the positions of the moon, Earth, and sun. Venturers, Aaron and I still don't know what this means.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask for some help from our viewers because the requirement for venturers to earn the emblem is to research Sir Arthur Eddington's 1919 experiment and discuss how it confirmed Einstein's theory of general relativity. Obviously, Gina, I know what that means. Kevin and I know,
right.
But there might be some folks out there who don't. So maybe viewers could tell those folks.
I bet Chell knows how to. I bet our astronaut buddy knows
that he does.
Thanks again to him for bringing us a special message today. And Jeremy says as a Scoutmaster, he loves that he said he's assistant Scoutmaster. It is super cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Now all that talking's out of the way, let's look at what the Scouts came up with.
Yes, definitely. And how appropriate that we have Kevin as an art director, designer for our magazine. How appropriate to have him on as we look at artwork. This is actually cool.
Cub Scout.
Yes.
Yeah, got the Ring of Fire going, and then some other planets.
I think that's because there were actually, and I don't think we talked about this on the air, Gina. There were actually some other planets visible during the eclipse. So I saw what I thought was a star, but I'm learning now I think it was actually Jupiter. I think it was Jupiter.
Okay.
Maybe Jacob could tell us, but great job by Jacob from Pack 97 in Norwalk. Yep.
Yeah.
That is, having just seen that about 30 minutes ago, I'd say accurate. That's what it looked like.
I agree.
Yes.
Again, these are submissions from Scouts. We called for photos, drawings, everything. This is Pack 447, and I think that they are just building eclipse
They got their
viewers.
eclipse. They built theirs like little mailboxes. Not a mailbox in front of your house, but like a shipping mailbox that you would ship something in, which is another great option. We said earlier, you can build them out of almost any kind of box. Cereal box may be easiest. These folks did it with mailers. which also could work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely cool.
Whatever works.
Reminder too, on screen underneath us, you can see our sun cam. We are still getting a view. We're still seeing the eclipse.
Yeah, you can still see the shadows down here around Kevin are still a little bit eclipsy, and the full it's bright now, but it's still, I feel like it's maybe a little bit dim. The light is still being affected by the moon, which is almost passed over completely across the sun for us. Not for everybody in North America, which is why I want to make sure that we remind you we're going to be visiting with some scouts in the Northeast further as they see the eclipse. Let's look at this work from Rose from Pack 447.
This has to be dad jokes, right? Oh, and mom joke.
It's a comic.
What is the sun's favorite dance during eclipse, Gina? Do you know?
I do.
It's obviously the moonwalk.
That's good.
Yeah, these are some great dad jokes.
I
Probably
love
from the
it.
pages of Scout Life magazine.
Or if they're not, they should be submitted. You can go to scoutlife.org and submit your jokes. We love to feature them in the magazine.
Love those.
Especially, we have a whole eclipse joke feature. Ooh.
Yeah, this one's really cool.
A lot of energy.
What do you think?
Yeah, Kevin, what's your interpretation?
Yeah,
of
what
this,
do you
Kevin?
think should you use? What's the
It's
media?
just, I would say chalk or pastels, and I think you really captured the color that is in the eclipse. I was amazed at some of at all the color that I saw on the fiery parts of the
ring of fire
How
around
did you
it.
feel, during the eclipse, Kevin?
I loved it. I felt really relaxed, and it was, I don't know, it got really dark, which is sort of expecting, and everyone started cheering. And I think that's a great question to ask. How did you feel? Because we're going to, in a minute, we'll talk about how did other cultures react when they saw the eclipse. And a lot of it was maybe not so, there wasn't a lot of cheering.
Wasn't necessarily as positive, right? Because they didn't know what
It
was
could be
going
really
on.
scary. We were
We
just
didn't
talking
shoot
about
off
that.
any arrows at the sun or try to bang drums to get the sun. But
Not
we didn't
today.
do those.
Not today. Okay, here's another pack 267.
Oh, wow.
They did some drawing and they made their eclipse viewers. Boy, they're so cute.
And I love that
I
we're
mean,
seeing that
cool,
Cub Scout
very
dens
cool.
did this. Yeah, the Cub Scouts do this as a den. These are activities that are meant to be done as a den with the family, as
Could be
a whole
a
pack.
pack,
You can do
yeah.
it any of those. Yeah, that's really, really cool that we're seeing this group activity.
You can use a colander to see the eclipse. Just wanted to call that out to Mark. If it's passing right above you right now, I don't want you to miss out. You can, of course, make a cereal box viewer or a shoe box viewer. Maybe we'll show you how to do that in just a second. But you can certainly use a colander as well. Eclipsy, that's a word, I guess, coined by you.
Yes, because it still looks
Very
kind
nice
of
job.
eclipsy around here. Thank you, Jeremy. It looks kind of eclipsy around here right now still.
Very good. Okay, now we are going to move on to a little bit of what you've been sharing on social. This is just a quick snapshot of some of the things that we are seeing on Instagram right now using hashtag Scout the Eclipse. Look at that shirt.
Nice shirt. I like the
love
shirt
it.
a lot. Yes.
We're giving some of those shirts
I
away
like her
today.
shirt too. I'm not sure. It looks like a
Wolf howling.
maybe. Yeah. Is that a moon? I can't tell. But I love it.
Aaron and I were so overcome by the eclipse, we didn't look to see if our shirts were glowing. Let us know if your shirt was glowing.
No one looks like it's glowing.
Yeah.
It's glowing in the dark.
These
You're
do glow in the
supposed to,
dark.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's our buddy Emerson.
You know Emerson. Yes, he's
That's him eating his what
once
he made.
again, Emerson. I'm now
Yeah, he made
starving.
some pies.
Thank you so much. Again, I'm hungry. I was doing better, but now I'm hungry again.
This is our eclipse viewer tutorial, which you can check out on Scout Life Mag, which is our Instagram, or on our YouTube, on our
How
Facebook.
fun is that?
You can also, after today, I don't know why you would make an eclipse viewer after today, except in the
just for
future,
fun, yeah.
but you can rewind this video and watch Eric's more in-depth tutorial. That's our view right
2000,
here.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right
up front.
behind us. Yes, you can see that our resident scout is prepared.
He
He
is.
was prepared early this morning for the eclipse. He's ready to go.
He is. He's a man with the times. Don't let the old-fashioned uniform fool you. He knows, and those are about. Now, this made me laugh. This is the Crossroads.
Ah, great minds think alike.
Yeah.
You see, yep, they did the same
And
thing.
they
out
did the
there
same
in
thing.
Utah. Good
I think
job,
it's the same
guys.
scout.
And see, that's Utah. They're not typically
Crossroads
what you
of the
think
West.
in the path, but they're still out there celebrating, having a good time.
Yes, I think there's maybe another picture. Yes, there we go. There's Utah.
Yep.
Our Utah
See,
scout.
they're seeing
something
something.
to see,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Yeah, they may not have gotten the full eclipse, but they're still seeing it. This guy's having fun.
Yep. Look at that shirt.
Yep. Yep.
I think he's probably at an eclipse camp of some kind.
Yep, I bet he is
Very
too.
cool.
Yep.
If you want to make it on here, use hashtag Scout the Eclipse. I'm adding these as we are live to our feed. I think I put him twice.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
He's worth looking at twice. That's how good he
Absolutely,
is. Yes,
absolutely.
right.
We'll keep adding your pictures there to our feed. So we'll review those again in a bit. Now, something I think a lot of folks at home are super excited about. We are here with Kevin for a reason.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Oh, thanks.
So something behind the scenes,
Have a
Brian
great day.
actually thought of this topic, but he wanted to, we kind of thought of the idea of covering like the history of the eclipse, because he had, I think, been inspired by some pictures he'd seen of kids with like boxes on their heads viewing the eclipse. It was a very interesting photo, and so we thought maybe we'd check in with you, like eclipse
How far
history,
back does it go?
pop culture,
Yeah, I mean,
all that jazz.
eclipses have been around forever.
Yeah.
But what are some of the early records? What do we know about what ancient peoples thought about the eclipse?
If you're curious about what ancient people thought, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. You know, when the eclipse happened here, and when it got dark, everyone was cheering, and you could hear people in different areas all around the town here, cheering and stuff like that too. Over most parts of the world, the sun and the moon. In ancient times, those were the calendars, and you don't really want to mess with that stuff. And if the sun disappears, people start to say it's broken. And then they start telling stories about how the sun got broken. And then it turns into these amazing myths and fascinating things. And in China, wow, there's this invisible dragon creature that eats the moon and that kind of thing too. And then generally, though, it's a sign of foreboding. It's an ill omen. And I just think it's special that we really like it today and we get ready for it and we have fun and we just enjoy this astonishing phenomenon.
Have any of these reactions, I guess, to eclipses made a difference in history?
Well,
Impacted history in some way?
I think there's an infamous story of Columbus tricking some people by using an eclipse, because for centuries people have been able to predict eclipses. It's just some math and that kind of thing too. So, well, that's that's sort of a sad story, but it's true.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting, Brian. Like you said, I'm sorry, Brian. Kevin, like you said, people use the sun and the moon to tell time, so they were obviously tracking it back then. But if you had some knowledge that some other folks didn't, you could use that to your advantage. There was a Bugs Bunny cartoon that Kevin and I might remember from our youth. Gina probably doesn't remember it, a little too young, but there was a Bugs Bunny cartoon that I think was inspired by that same story, where he was held captive, but he knew the eclipse was coming and was able to get out of trouble by warning them, hey, if you're too mean to me, I'm gonna take away the sun. And they were like, hell yeah, like you can do that. Well, then he did, Gina, and they had to let him go. So yeah, you can imagine how terrifying it would be if you didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, now eclipses have made appearances in books and in TV shows and in movies, and I'm thinking of three in particular. Can y'all maybe try to guess? I know there was a movie named Eclipse or whatever years ago, but one of them is one of the greatest science fiction movies ever. It's 2001 Space Odyssey. That featured an eclipse, and it featured a lot of planets lining up and that kind of thing. Which
I didn't even
remember. Some big ideas behind that.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
I haven't seen 2001.
I have seen it, but it's been forever. Okay, I didn't realize that an eclipse. I didn't remember that an eclipse played an important role in that. That's interesting.
There's another movie which is not for kids. It's a real chase movie, and it's kind of scary, and it takes place in the New World, and it was Apocalypto, which is a fascinating kind of a chase movie. That had an eclipse was the big thing in that movie. But there's one more movie, and Aaron's going to remember this one, where the eclipse was just everything. And I was a Dungeons & Dragons kid, and I loved Middle Ages and swords. And there was this movie that came out when I was a kid, and it was called Lady Hawk. Any fans?
I remember Kevin and I remember Lady Hawk well. Yeah, and the eclipse was
about this.
Yes,
we just know the eclipse was a big turning
Was a
point
big
in the
plot
movie
point in
because there was this curse, and there was going to be a day without a night and a night without a day, and then they broke the curse this way, and it was really fascinating. And it's a really fun movie, and
Interesting. That was one I've never heard of.
Yeah, only probably folks of a certain age would remember Lady Hawk. But yeah, worth checking it out.
There really aren't that many eclipse-themed movies. I was really surprised.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
And sorry to interrupt, but I do. The sun, as I've been saying, the eclipse waits for no one. And actually, we have just been joined by our Maine troop, who's on a camp out right now, and they are some of the last folks in the United States who are going to see the eclipse.
Has been flying across North America for the last really 45 minutes or so.
So we're bringing an intermission to our pop culture talk, and we're tossing it over and saying hello to Troy.
Say goodbye to everybody. I'm gonna have to say goodbye to everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Kevin, for joining us.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, Kevin.
See ya.
Thanks for
doing this.
Yeah. Great job. Great job. Troy, how are you?
Can y'all hear us? Hello, hello. We can see you. Yeah, a reminder, just because the eclipse has passed over you where you are and has passed over where we are does not mean it is not still here in the United States, but it won't be for long.
That young person laying down on the ground is not injured. They are watching the eclipse because in Caribou, Maine, they are how far away from totality? Do we know, Gina?
I have it written
Just a
down.
few
They're
minutes.
minutes away. We're trying to see if we can get audio on those guys.
Yeah, it looks like it's still pretty bright there for now.
Behind the scenes team, did you see a mark of what? Well, it's okay. They have their hands are full. We're trying to work through the audio.
Right.
I got so busy getting excited about the user submitted photos. I ran all through Kevin's pop culture, but he had such great info to share.
Great information. Yeah, exactly. And really interesting how many years ago, totally makes sense that people would be terrified. Like if we didn't know that was going to happen and all of a sudden it happened in the middle of the day, obviously you'd be terrified and you'd try to come up with explanations, right?
Yes.
What could be causing this, whatever. So yeah, really interesting to hearing that. Thanks to Kevin for coming on with us.
Okay, while we don't have audio, we are still getting the visual. You can see that it's getting darker there. Like it kind of looks like it's like stormy there in Caribou, Maine. Again, that is one of the last places in the United States we're going to be able to see the eclipse. How lucky we are to be able to, get in touch with this troop. I think they're a troop on a camp out.
Yep. I think this is not a full council event. This is a Troop 184 who is gathering in their hometown. There are probably, as you can see, they're just in a random little parking lot in their town. There's probably other members of the community there, which, by the way, that's a great idea. Wear your scout uniform out at a community. Well, I think it's getting darker right now as we see it, as we see the video coming in from Caribou, Maine. Gina, one of the things that's interesting about the eclipse that I learned just the other day, didn't know before, is that as it moves across the United States, it speeds up. So it's so that's why it got to Maine a lot faster than it went from, say, Galveston to us. Galveston, Texas to us took maybe not a very long space, but it was moving much slower. It's moving much faster now. Their totality duration is significantly shorter than ours, maybe by a full minute or so.
Okay, wow. How long were we in totality, do you know?
We were in totality for nearly 4 minutes. I think it was like maybe 3 minutes and 50 seconds or something like that. And these guys are like under 3 minutes. So they've lost a minute, I think, up to totality. So 25% or so faster, or it's going, or slower, I guess.
I mean, it's getting significantly darker there quickly.
Yeah, right. It's going
faster. I feel like it was a very slow fade for us. So we're moments hopefully away from being able to talk to them, but until we can, we're just going to watch them watch the eclipse.
Watch their
reactions. If they can hear us, we just want to tell those scouts, be sure to enjoy the eclipse.
Yeah,
you don't have to wait for us. It's okay. We can watch you watch the eclipse.
Yep.
So cool. Oh, good. They're looking.
Yep. We definitely don't want to interfere with their fun. It's really cool to see, Gina, how it's moved across the country. We visited with a couple of scouts in Texas. We visited with some in Illinois. And now we're visiting with one in Maine. And you can see there. Yeah, you can see there's the planet up there. You can actually see it on there. I'm pretty sure that's Jupiter.
Wow.
Up in the sky there, which very conveniently placed itself in view. Maybe, it's like, hey, look at me. Like, I'm up here too.
Yeah.
Got a convenient timing for that. Can you guys hear us by chance down on the ground there in Caribou, Maine?
One funny thing I've noticed as we've checked in with several different camps and even being here is
I think they can hear us.
Oh, they can.
All right, can you hear us?
We can hear you.
All right, I can hear you now.
Okay, well, I'll just hold the phone up to our mic here. So tell us a little bit about what y'all are seeing.
Well, pretty much you see a black ball. You can see the solar flares and everything. You can see the planet right now since it's coming back. You can see the planets and stars and all that.
They are saying that they can see the planets and the stars. What does it sound like there? Are people kind of like getting excited when they're getting a good view, or?
You hear people cheering and clapping and yelling. You hear everyone. It's a once in a lifetime experience. So it's really nice to see everyone who's so excited about it.
It looks like
it's all coming back. It's real strange.
In case you can't tell at home, he's saying you can hear people cheering and clapping when they're getting a good view, and I think we can see that happen. I was about to say I feel like we've seen that happen at a few different camps. As soon as those striking moments of totality are happening, people cheer, and then the scouts turn and they go look at it, or like everyone here will turn and they'll go run and look at it. And I think we saw that with y'all.
So
yeah, it was pretty cool.
is it? So it looks like from our view, it's already getting a little bit brighter. Is that right?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah,
the street lights have gone out from the streets, and
so one of the requirements, guys, for earning the eclipse emblem was to share how you felt. Can you guys tell us how you felt when you saw the eclipse?
I mean, it was amazing. I mean, you're here, it's gonna be like dark and everything, and you know it's gonna be dark. But like when you actually see it, it's just like shocking. Like you don't actually expect that. It doesn't seem normal or anything. It's like 3 in the afternoon. You're seeing pitch blackness. It feels like you're seeing sunset.
But you, Avery, how'd you feel?
Pretty much the same. It like felt really cool because it's once in a lifetime, really. Because the next time it happens, you'll have to go to like South or North Dakota. So it felt really cool to be able to experience that.
I don't know why it's weird, but you feel your eyes. Yeah, so the lights come back on over here in Caribou.
Yeah,
they're senior patrol leader for the girls. Scoutmaster, sorry. Correct me anytime I'm wrong.
Yeah, very cool. It's so cool. We've gotten, just while we're sitting here talking to you guys, we've seen it get dark, or we saw it start out as fairly bright, then get dark, and then get bright again. So very cool. Thank you guys for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate being part of it.
So again, they were some of the last people in the contiguous U.S. to actually get to see the eclipse. What I wonder,
we're basically waving bye-bye to the eclipse, Gina. It's basically past 3. I know, right?
But I do know that they say it'll be here, for 4 hours. I don't know if that means that it started to or maybe some parts of Canada.
Yeah, I mean that it'll be another 30 minutes or so of it still there being some contact between the moon and the sun.
Yeah, I guess if we're looking at this map, it's definitely in Canada
it keeps
now.
on going up. Yep.
So let me ask you this, Aaron. What about Alaska and Hawaii?
Yeah,
that's
exactly right.
What was the answer?
I think that they had Hawaii probably not a lot.
Yeah, or maybe it's not there yet. I don't
yeah,
even know.
No,
I mean, I guess not at all.
I don't at all for.
Let us know if you know. We would love to read your comment. But you think?
I think not at all for Hawaii, but a little bit of an effect in Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let us know if you maybe are in Hawaii or Alaska. I'm also just curious, what was your experience? Because we keep saying, I keep trying to remember to say contiguous United States, but y'all are there too, and you may or may not have gotten to see it.
Yeah, and so kind of a repeating theme of today was, well, it's going to be cloudy. I'm not sure if you can see it, but almost everyone we've talked to was able to see something. Even down there in Southwest Texas, where it looked like it was really overcast, they still got the full effect. So, and another thing we're noticing is that it's not just the people in that path of totality that are getting to experience something. Even if you live way outside that path of totality, you still get to experience an effect of the eclipse. And if you throw those glasses on, you can still see the moon pass over, or I should say between, even if it's just a small amount.
That's exactly right. Again, reminder, use hashtag #ScoutTheEclipse to show up on our social feed. We also still have our sun cam going. This amazing shot over
Which
here,
is coming from right over there.
Yes.
Yep.
Is of our sun right now. We are still getting a little bit of an eclipse right now.
Yep. Yeah, we're still getting it's getting brighter. If you didn't know any better right now, I'd say it looks like, you might not notice. Yeah.
But we've been living in this now for an hour or so or more. And
that's exactly right.
It's kind of hard to tell.
One of the things that happens, Gina, as we have discussed, is that during a total eclipse, it gets dark, and that can play tricks with nature a little bit. It can cause some confusion in some animals that might think that it's supposed to be daylight and it switches to night all of a sudden, and vice versa. When our friend Eric and I were standing out there looking at it together, we saw this lone bird flying, and I wonder if that bird was already in the air and thought, well, sure did get dark fast.
Yeah, whatever causes bird
I wasn't
injuries.
expecting that. Yeah.
Well, if you are an animal and nature fan, we have the answers to the questions you might be having. We were able to talk to the nature crew, who writes a regular column for Scout Life talking about different kinds of animals. And they were, of course, the people we thought of to ask, hey, what's going on with
who better to ask than the nature crew, who have contributed to Scout Life magazine for so many years.
I talked to them late last week, so let's check it out. All right, everybody. I am joined by the nature crew, Selena and Mark. Our Scout Life readers are used to seeing your column in our magazine. It's pretty cool to get to talk to you in person and throw some questions your way. So let me just throw out the broad question. Do animals react to a solar eclipse?
Well, some animals are definitely going to have a reaction to a solar eclipse, and reactions vary widely across the animal kingdom. Plants also respond to eclipses, believe it or not. Some researchers have found that the amount of photosynthesis for plants may drop as much as 10 or 20% for the day due to the disruption of light. And plants that flower at night, for example, might open up, or they might even close their flowers if that's their normal nightly pattern. So pretty cool.
I think what first comes to mind for me is I've heard this, that animals think the sun is setting for the day during a total solar eclipse. Is that true? And if so, then what's the implication for nocturnal animals?
When the eclipse starts and you're in the partial phase, it kind of feels like twilight. But as you reach totality and it gets dark, it does get very confusing. The animals do think that the sun is setting. And so they might go about their evening routines. But some might even get a little bit confused as to what's going on and not just simply go to their roost or whatever. So to explain that, what you have to realize is that most animals, including human beings, have an inner clock, a biological clock, a circadian rhythm. And so it's basically on a 24-hour schedule with the sun. It helps set it every day. And so what happens with the animals during the totality is they're like, okay, my internal clock is telling me it's morning or it's afternoon, it's evening. But then they're seeing that it's getting, just like dark, like the sun is setting, like it's becoming night, and also the temperatures get cooler too. So they're sensing all these changes, and it's causing an issue with like, well, do I trust my senses? Do I trust my biological clock? So as it gets darker, the animals can get confused, and it's not matching what they're thinking it should be. And so diurnal creatures who come out during the day will be thinking, okay, it's time to go to bed. Whereas nocturnal creatures will do the opposite. Owls or niger or something, they might come out and get ready to catch prey for the evening. Or insects might start calling that are nocturnal. All sorts of things happen. And then there's also crepuscular. There's that category, those animals that come out in the evening and the morning. So maybe like deer, rabbits, those type of creatures who tend to be more active in those twilight phases. You might see them before the totality during the partial eclipse. You might see them being more active as well.
One interesting thing that scientists have seen is that spiders have been observed taking their webs down as the darkness increases. And then when the light returns, they build a brand new web. Night migrating songbirds like warblers, they've been observed giving nocturnal flight calls to each other, sort of keep their flock mates in tune with what they're doing. So they've been observed talking at night during the eclipse. So one other interesting thing we read about was dolphins. Scientists have seen dolphins sticking their heads out of the water during totality, and perhaps wondering why everything went dark all of a sudden. Reptiles and frogs, may start singing. Lizards may go back to their nighttime shelter, and even fish may start to get more active. They normally forage for food more at dawn and dusk, and when light levels are lower.
During the last eclipse in 2017, there were at the zoo, the Riverbank Zoo in Columbia, South Carolina, they thought, why don't we actually do a research study and look at the baseline behavior of a lot of their animals there at the zoo for a couple days before the eclipse, so they could get a baseline, just look at their behavior, and then the day of the eclipse and look what's going on during the eclipse. So they found basically 3 different kinds of reactions. One was, well, first of all, it was about 76% of the species actually responded. There were, almost a quarter that didn't even care that the eclipse was going on. They either slept through it or whatever, But there were some who, many of them, acted like it was evening. They were starting to go to get ready for their evening routine. But then there were some who actually got very anxious and showed anxiety. And then there was a third group who had different behaviors that the zoologists had never seen before. They called them novel, and they weren't anxious. They weren't going to bed, but it was just something different. And so anyway, most of them were thinking that night was coming. And so they were going to their roosts. The birds might've been going to their roosts. The mammals were headed to their enclosures for the evening. Although there was a nocturnal, I can't remember which species it was, but a bird actually left. It was one of the nocturnal species, and left their roost and got all active. But for the anxious ones, it was interesting because there were like giraffes. The giraffes kind of huddled, and some of them were like swaying their necks just because they were confused. Again, they didn't know what to think of it being dark when it should be in the middle of the day. And then baboons, they were all running around together and vocalizing and didn't know what to think of it. The flamingos, they surrounded their young ones. The juveniles were in the center of the group, and they were all talking and vocalizing. So they were all showing anxiety. They were stressed out about it. And then and a couple other interesting ones that were novel, that were new types of behavior that the zookeepers hadn't seen before. Gibbons were vocalizing in a different way that they'd never done before, so that was interesting. And the Galapagos tortoises, they were real active during totality, but then immediately after it, they all looked up at the sky. They all just started staring at the sky like, what gives? Now it's light again, So yeah, it's all kind of interesting, and it's nice that they did that research so you could get some good behaviors other than just the baseline, and compare and actually do a comparison. Yeah.
We're very appreciative to you all for pulling that research for us, and so happy for scientists actually like, hey, let's use this 2017 eclipse to kind of see what happens with animal behavior. It was literally the answer to our question today, our quandary on, how do animals react to the eclipse? It begs the question. So they may be feeling a little anxious. What happens after the eclipse? What do they do? Is their whole day thrown off or what?
It can take some animals a little while to get readjusted, figure out, what just happened. But eventually they seem to have sorted out. But some interesting examples, some researchers studying bats in Georgia found that the day after the eclipse, bats were observed feeding much more heavily, for a longer period of time. So there must have been some kind of after effect that caused that behavior to shift a little bit. One bizarre example that we saw was that after the eclipse in the 1930s, some cockroaches swarmed a pantry and some really sort of a mass gathering, which was kind of bizarre.
I'm glad I was not around that pantry. Maybe they were like humans. They felt like, oh, we got to stock up. We don't know what's happening. Get all the toilet paper.
Twinkies and cookies and whatever else they could find. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we've talked a lot about wild animals. It makes me think, I have an anxious dog. What can we do for our pets? Is there any chance that they're going to feel a little anxious during the eclipse?
Well, pets who are indoors probably aren't going to have too much of an issue because, again, they're not outside, they're not going to feel the temperature drop. And if they're indoors, if there's lighting inside, they're probably not going to notice. And like my cats, they sleep most of the day. So, totality is only 4 or 5 minutes where it's really dark. And the rest of the time, it's more like twilight or like an overcast day. So they're probably not going to be phased at all. Yeah. So it's probably not that bad of an issue unless you leave, like you yourself go out to see the eclipse. Then you might want somebody to check on them if you really have an anxious pet, or just leave the lights on. have your TV going, something that they, to keep them preoccupied.
I was just going to say the outdoor pets may definitely notice the change more so than indoor pets. If you think your pet, might get anxious, you probably could move them inside for the period during the eclipse. And if there's going to be a crowd, like if you wanted to see the eclipse, say like an outdoor viewing party, when there's going to be a lot of people, if it does get noisy, then you might just consider leaving your pet at home. But anything that you can do to distract your pet, if it does get anxious, like brushing your cat or petting your dog, or giving them treats, anything that'll help distract them from what's happening outside.
You all made such a great point earlier in the show, and honestly, before we actually went live here, but is there any way our viewers can help others learn about the eclipse and how it affects nature?
Yeah. If you're lucky enough to be in the totality path, because it's a once in a lifetime event for a lot of people, and you start to notice, what's going on with the sun and the moon and everything, and that's really exciting. But if you can take a moment to also, look around, see what the creatures around you are doing, and listen too. Don't just watch. You might hear insects, you might hear frogs starting to call. Just, take note of things. And there are some places that you could actually help and be a citizen scientist. eBird is a place, if you're looking at birds, you can report on the birds you're seeing and hearing, and you can fill out a comment section and just put a whole bunch of stuff in there, what you're noticing. And Cornell actually looks at all that stuff and to see what's going on during an eclipse and just sees what people are noticing. If you have a camera and you take pictures, you can go to iNaturalist and put in some photos and identify the things, but you can also make comments in there about what you're seeing. And there are a couple other places too that you can report about the eclipse. So anyway, just, enjoy that sudden darkness and the eeriness of a total eclipse, but also just take a moment to, be a scientist for a little bit and report. And that reporting helps everybody learn more about what's going on with the animals during an eclipse.
Very cool call to action for our audience. Again, you can report birds to ebird.org. All organisms can be reported to iNaturalist.org. And then there is a specific eclipse reporting site, which is scistarter.org/solar-eclipse-safari-resources. We'll put that URL up on the screen. Mark and Selena, this was so great. Thank you for taking some time out. I know it's a busy time of year. It's certainly a busy day. I think we're all far more well-informed on this topic now. So thank you.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you having us. Thanks so much.
Pretty fun interview.
Do that, please.
You all at home seem to have had some comments about what you observed with animals. Anna was asking, where can we report for Cubs that watched it? Hopefully you grabbed those links at the end of the video, but I think it was ebird.org and iNaturalist.org are some places that you can report in. Stephanie says they saw a bat fly over, so I guess it got dark and the bats came out. Interesting. Anna also says, this is funny, her chickens ran to the barn. Is that what they do when they go to sleep?
Time to go to bed, I guess, right?
They ran.
Yeah.
Now that
they thought it was bedtime.
Right. Okay, Levi, this seems like a really serious point. Oh, Levi, right. Maybe that's from a scout. What does the sun say after the solar eclipse? Pleased to heat you again.
Very good.
You
Scout joke / eclipse joke.
You only get it if you flipped through it.
Right.
You don't.
You
just
wouldn't
get
understand
that,
it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand it yet. Yep.
A lot of folks really like that interview. I saw some more comments I want to read. People just loving animals, loving Here They Go. Y'all, we do have more hammocks to give away, so keep the comments coming. Jeremy says all the birds got really quiet. Heather says it's interesting to see how the eclipse impacts wildlife. Kelly says birds went silent, then started singing again. Dan says seems like one of my dogs knew something was going on. I can't wait to get home and ask what my dog did. What do you think your dog did?
Yeah, my dog slept through it.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. Yeah.
My dog's a little inside, a little outside, and he spends a lot of his day outside by choice. So I'm curious, but he probably also slept through it just outside.
Yeah, I wonder if they would even notice. Like, would they even know? Oh, it's dark outside. Like, it doesn't really affect them. Right?
Yeah, and I think Selena was kind of mentioning, actually, and Mark, just giving them the same kind of attention you'd always give them, or give them a little extra attention if they seem nervous. I always also thought, like, I guess you could put them, like, if you have a dog that's afraid of thunder, you might put them in their kennel and during this, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to do another look at some of the content you all have sent in, drawings and things, and we can also check back in with social. But the part of the inspiration for when we were calling for this is just, we want to see what you all know about the eclipse. Part of it was to meet requirement number 4 of the emblem. And if you have tuned in all day today, we have walked you through the steps to earn that emblem. You can get it at Scout Shop. You can get it at scoutshop.org. And there are it's about having fun. And there is still a chance to earn this. Even if you weren't live with us from the beginning, after today's show is over, you can rewind the video, walk through these with us, walk through them independently. They're on the site. I think you have a little time after the eclipse to still earn it, right?
Yes, absolutely. I don't think there's any deadline. Maybe only when your scouts forget, right? Because eventually, especially for younger kids, 2 weeks they might have forgotten this whole thing happened. So you probably want to talk to them about how they felt and things like that relatively soon. But as far as purchasing the emblem and actually fulfilling that requirement, there's no deadline.
Jasper comments that the eclipse hasn't happened for him yet. Jasper,
so there's still some folks waiting.
Where are you?
Yes.
Tell us. And Marcy says her dogs were outside with her, not a care in the world.
Yeah.
Marcy is our dog expert.
Yes, and I think that's Marcy's dogs speak for my dogs as well. My dog, I don't think he would notice.
Yeah, probably not.
Right.
Okay, let's check out some of these user submitted photos before we go live with one more camp. Okay, here is a Cub Scout making, I think, his viewer box. He's using a USPS priority mail box.
Yes.
Somebody must have a hookup.
Yes. We saw some photos. I think this was maybe the same pack. We were doing this as a group activity. As we said earlier in the show, any box will work. So whatever you have around, maybe they had a contact or something like that. They got some mailboxes.
You can see on our sun cam, we are just getting the slightest little sliver of the eclipse
almost
still.
Over, Gina. I can't believe we've been doing on the air now for 3 hours, and you can see how far we've come.
These chalk illustrations lend themselves to really representing the eclipse because what do we call it? The corona.
Mm-hmm.
Once we're in full totality is really nicely represented by that kind of like powdery chalk.
Yeah, that's a great medium.
Yeah.
To use an artistic word, to draw, because it's not that precise, which is what you want.
Yeah.
Because the eclipse itself is kind of fuzzy around the edges, right? Yep.
Also, these scouts drew these pictures before the eclipse. I would love for you all to submit some photos of what you've seen now that you've seen the eclipse, what it looked like.
Yep.
Okay, they're doing a full-on presentation or something here, Pack 8072.
Like 8072. Now remember, Illinois, that's the state that's kind of in a unique position, Gina, because they're have been close to 2 eclipses now in the last 7 years. That is extremely unusual. That might not happen. That won't happen again for a long time. That's very cool.
Yeah, that Eclipse Camporee 3.0 is going to be a little while.
Off
I think.
the hook, I think. Yes.
Okay, this is just some fun with rockets.
Yeah, I think they're maybe shooting some rockets at the moon.
Yeah, of course.
They want to make sure they want to save it from the sun. They're probably afraid they're afraid the sun's not coming back. So they want to knock the moon out of the way.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of what Kevin said about people shooting arrows at the moon.
Yes,
they
exactly.
Didn't, the sun. They didn't know
They
what was
had
going
no
on.
idea. Yes, look at this cutie.
Oh yeah, I know her. Okay, that's the picture of my daughter wearing the eclipse sunglasses or glasses.
Have you heard from her yet? How did her day go?
She texted me and she said it's been a good day.
Good.
She really was she said it was one of the most incredible experiences of her life.
Amazing.
Seeing the eclipse, yeah.
Her dad just bothered her the whole day, probably
Yes.
getting her to go outside, look up.
Right. I don't even know. I'll have to find out how in the world they managed to keep her from looking at it.
Yes,
I'm sure they did it. She's fine.
Yes.
She's taking it out.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah. I also love seeing all of these photos from you guys. Use hashtag Scout the Eclipse. Emerson, big thanks to you for your awesome snack tutorial. You can check that video.
Kind of the star of the show.
Yeah,
right
go
there,
to our Instagram right now. Follow Emerson. He's a great follow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And a talented chef as well.
Oh, I can see some scouts who have joined our live stream. Okay, this is going to be a pretty cool interview because everyone we've talked to so far, they've been in the midst of viewing the eclipse. These young women have actually already viewed the eclipse earlier today. Thanks for joining us.
Hi. Thank you so much.
So we are joined by 3 young women who are at Camp Mertz in Chautauqua. I think, Gina, New York. They are celebrating the 2024 eclipse weekend with the Allegheny Highlands Council. Why don't you each say your names real quick, introduce yourselves to the folks watching.
I'm Madison Smith. I'm Sage Kaiser. I'm the SPL of Troop 619.
I am Natasha Kemp. I am the SPL of Troop 267.
Very, very cool.
Well, y'all are holding some props. Tell us what you got in your hands there.
So, oh no. This is what's called the sunspot box. You point this towards the sun, and then you look through this hole, and you can see it through at this side of the box.
Hey, we're familiar with those. We had a few of those.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
I am holding this little gas lantern. This represents our light of scouting.
Okay,
nice
we got a
symbolic.
presentation.
Yes, that's cool.
Okay. Love it.
I'm sorry, but I just want to learn a little bit more about the gas lantern. So how did that come about? What's the origin of that? Is there a story there?
Ooh,
Well, it's from 1933. So.
See, I'm a journalist.
making a
I have
cameo.
an eye for
Who knew?
stories. Yes, exactly. I'm gonna have to reach out to you guys when we're done here to find out more about that lantern. That's very, very cool. How has your experience been today?
Cloudy.
Yeah.
Oh, it
very
cleared
cloudy.
up just in time for us to actually get to see it in totality. We were starting to get a little worried that we weren't going to get a good view.
We're very glad to hear it. You tell us about your whole weekend. You had a whole eclipse weekend. Is that right?
Yeah. Yesterday we did the Astronomy Merit Badge, which is actually one that we do offer here at Camp MERS over our summer program. Very fun. So we had people doing that yesterday. Perfect timing. We were selling some food such as like pulled pork, hamburgers. So we were doing a lot of advertisement. And then we came back today to mostly just prep food, get ready for the eclipse, and enjoy a good time.
So you said that the weather cleared up just in time for you to basically see the moment of totality as it happened?
Yeah, really, like within like 2 minutes before, it was completely covered in clouds, and just right before it started is when it cleared up.
That's awesome. Well, one of you describe to me what you saw and what it felt like, and what that moment was like for you guys.
It was absolutely amazing. I have been obsessed with the stars and with the moon and the sun for a very long time. So I thought it was just an amazing event to witness and a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Your setting
I'm
is
right there with her. Yeah.
Your setting is pretty incredible. So it makes me wonder, because we just talked with the nature crew a little bit about how nature, plants, animals react to the eclipse. Did you notice anything happening with animals or plants? It's okay if you were too taken by the eclipse, but what did you hear and see?
A lot of the birds in the area were acting like a little confused. They were like quite normal.
Yeah. I know here it seemed like everything went quiet. Like I hear birds right now, not during the eclipse.
Yep. Now, are those eclipse glasses on your forehead there, still on your head?
Yeah, yes they are.
What do you look up to the sky? What do you see right now? Is it cloudy, or can you still see anything?
Right now it's just like you can see most of the sun. It's just barely still covered.
Yes, ours is just basically back to normal now. I think we've taken down our sun view, but it's amazing how long you get a little bit of a partial eclipse. It's also funny, everybody's watching in anticipation as it's starting to get covered, and then it gets fully covered, and that's like the big peak, and then it seems like a lot of people here lost interest, but it hangs around for a little while, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, it totally did. So did anybody use that box viewer? Did any of you guys use that?
Not during the total eclipse, but we used
Before
it
it?
afterwards.
Okay. What did you see?
As it was starting to reappear, we could see the sun, and like we were all trying it at different places around the field.
So now, for the rest of the day, was this it? Are people all packing up and heading home, and you guys are just kindly waiting around to do a nice interview with us?
Well, we still gotta clean up everything, especially from selling food. We gotta make sure that's all packaged properly so none of it goes to waste.
Do you know how many people were at the eclipse weekend?
I think there were a few troops that were here.
Did people kind of come from all around the area?
Oh yeah. For an area that's not normally too bad with traffic, it was all day to day, just car after car.
Yeah, and everyone
Yep.
that stopped at our stand was kind of from a different area.
And what was it like as a, to view an event like that with your community, right? With other scouts, with probably a lot of folks there that you didn't even know, right? Were people kind of oohing and ahhing and talking about how crazy it was?
Oh yeah. It's definitely, it was like, even if it was people you didn't know, everyone felt just so connected because of being in this moment and being able to see this event.
That makes a lot of sense. It was very overwhelming here even, and we were just here for a few minutes and it felt like, oh wow, how we're all out here. I just can't imagine the kind of sense of unity you'd have with a camp, and being able to view that with your peers. It's pretty cool. Jealous. What was the deal with school today? Did you have school off, or did you get to like take it off for this special event?
My school was off.
As was mine.
Mine was still ongoing, but they allowed me to come to this event.
I think that's fair. I feel like a lot would be reasonable.
Pretty much everything we've heard, I think, is that school was either off or you had the option of going in, and most people chose wisely, like you did, not to go in, which I support. First of all, you guys introduced yourselves earlier, but what are your goals? I would just be curious to know, like, your goals in scouting here. I know we're talking to one SPL right here. So you're already a youth leader. What have you guys enjoyed about being in Scouts so far, and what are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to getting my Eagle and then continuing on into adulthood and hopefully coming back to camp to work as an adult.
Fabulous.
That's a great goal.
One last very important question that goes to each of you. Is there anybody watching or at home or maybe even at camp you want to give a quick shout out and hello to?
Yeah, I'd love to give a shout out to everyone who's a member of Crew 120 here at Camp MERS who could not make it to this event. To my troop members of Troop 619G, love you all, and especially to my family, because I kind of bailed on them to be here.
Any other shout outs or anything like that before we let you guys go?
I would love to give a shout out to my mom, who she is working with the fire department, making sure everything goes smoothly. And she's amazing.
Okay, I didn't even think about that. A firefighter doesn't get to stop and look at the eclipse.
Did she have a busy day today? Do you know?
Oh, she did. All of the firefighters are all at the fire hall, waiting in anticipation for a call.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to be on duty.
Anybody else?
I guess I'll shout out my troop 276, who some also in the OA, but sadly couldn't make it to this event. It was sad, but
That's okay. There'll be something else. We also need to give a shout out to Brittany, who helped make this happen, and I think is working the camera right now. We appreciate her very much. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. I know you got some tiring work ahead, but hopefully all worth it. Pretty cool phenomenon. I know you guys are young, but I think even you grasp how unique of an experience today was.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. You did great. Enjoy the rest of your day. Very, very cool, Gina. It's really cool to see the reaction of scouts across the country. For them, the eclipse just happened not that long ago. For us, it's been almost an hour or so now. I can't believe it.
I know.
Can't believe it's
so
gone by
bright.
so fast. Yeah, exactly.
Bright.
It's basically normal here. I didn't want to say it to them while we were on there. I kind of want to make them feel bad. But they got the eclipse was a little bit shorter when they were, because the moon's shadow moves faster the further up northeast you get. So they got maybe 30, 45 seconds less than we did down here in Texas. I'm sure it was still a remarkable experience, though.
It's interesting. Aaron's kind of an eclipse trivia master.
No big deal.
What's very funny about that is that in the middle of a break, I told Aaron, "Oh no, I don't know if we have eclipse trivia," and he panicked and he found some, but we don't even need it. We have some.
I didn't panic at all. I've got it right here.
I panicked. But the thing is, behind the scenes, Brian has them. We actually have a quiz we're going to take. And the good news is the last portion of the show will be live for about 30 more minutes. The last portion of this show is giveaway packed. So we wanted to give you a chance to comment along with us. Comment the answers to these quiz questions, because they're at least my only hope of getting them right. We'll be giving away shirts, emblems, bug tents, and hammocks. Thank you. Sans bug, so thank you for that. And then the BSA hammock, and then of course the Eclipse patch you all are familiar with, and these awesome Eclipse t-shirts like we're wearing that glow in the dark. Are you ready for this?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
I am ready.
Help us, audience.
We're going to need some help from the audience, and I can already tell you right here.
You know.
Gina. Well, I will say this. I don't know if behind the scenes Brian did this on purpose or not. Did behind the scenes Brian put together this quiz? Do we know?
Mm-hmm.
He did. This is a little bit of a trick question, I think. But I'll be interested because I think I know what the answer is. But the question is, after this year's solar eclipse, when will the next total solar eclipse take place in the U.S.? You know what? Maybe it's not a trick question if you read it carefully, I should say. If you read it carefully, and also some other words in this that are
solar.
Important. One more word also in front of that solar. What's the
years?
Word? No. Between the word next and solar is an important word.
Total.
Total. Yes, the next total.
So my understanding is that eclipses aren't very rare, but it is rare to be in the path of totality.
I saw an eclipse just about 6 months ago down in College Station, Texas. It was a partial solar eclipse, Gina,
but
not a total.
Does that mean
So
it's
that's the
partial
key.
for
Yes, you guys
everyone?
who said total. Well, for everybody in the United States, it is.
But
yeah.
was it total for anybody?
Not in the United States. It might have been
No.
total over the ocean or something like that.
Now, outside of the United States, are you aware there are other countries?
It might have been.
Did they have? Is there such a thing as a partial eclipse, and it's just partial for everybody?
It's total somewhere, but usually that total area is over the ocean, where no one lives. So that's when I say nobody. It's over the ocean.
So the answer is?
I shouldn't say nobody. The answer in this one is. Well, I know the answer. Do you want me to say it?
Is it 2044?
It is 2044. Yes.
Let's see.
Yes, there will be some partial.
That's a lot of pressure for Brian.
Yes, it is. There will be some partial eclipses over various parts of the United States between now and then. But that's the next.
Will we be in the
total
path of
eclipse.
totality for that?
I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I have to look into that.
Okay.
Read the explanation.
So the next solar eclipse in the United States will be in 2044. It will cross Montana, North Dakota, and South
That
Dakota.
seems like a long ways from us here in Texas, Gene. I'm not sure if we're going to.
I wonder if our boss will let us go.
Yes, maybe we'll have to ask him if we can go cover that one live.
Yeah.
Good job, Heather.
The man behind the sun cam, Michael Roytek, said something about one in Spain in just a few years.
Yeah,
I think
Spain.
surely we'll be sent to that.
25,
surely.
26. Yes.
What's the outer atmosphere of the sun called? Ooh, the scouts taught me this.
Yes, and we've learned this just today. And what's interesting, Gina, that I've also read recently, speaking of eclipse trivia, is that this outer atmosphere of the sun, you normally can't see it because when normally when the sun's out, it's so bright, you can't see it. When you look at the sun, if you were to look at the sun right now with your eclipse glasses, the eclipse glasses are so dark that you can't see this part of the sun. So it's kind of like it's in the Goldilocks spot. You can't see it with your glasses on because the glasses are too dark, and you can't see it without the glasses because the rest of the sun is too bright. We're talking, of course, about the corona is exactly right. And that's why during the eclipse, when the moon is right over the middle of it, you can see the corona. It becomes visible. That's the only time you can really see it without some sort of special eclipse.
So 2017, when we were talking about the eclipse, that was, I know we've seen an eclipse since then, but that was our last total solar eclipse.
In the United States.
Yes.
There are other countries.
We were talking a little bit about the corona.
Yes.
There had been no coronavirus at that point.
Exactly right. That was pre-coronavirus.
And now
Great
we
point.
think, so
Great
I'm just
point.
saying, don't associate that word only.
Great point. Yes.
Okay. Which phase of the moon occurs during a solar eclipse?
Well, there's a lot of things that have to go right in order for a solar eclipse to happen. And one of them is that the moon has to be in the right phase.
Oh.
If the moon's not in the right phase, it's not
That
going to
makes
happen.
sense.
Yeah, right. Otherwise, it's not an eclipse.
Really? So what if this moon isn't in a full moon?
Then it's not a solar eclipse.
Nothing happens?
That's like every day.
There wouldn't be a little crescent in it?
That's that's what the crescent moon, that's what a crescent moon is. It's a crescent.
But
right?
Okay.
I think
I'll just believe you.
The answer I think is full moon.
I think it makes sense.
Now watch me turn out to be wrong, but I think it's full moon.
No, certainly that makes sense.
New moon is the first moon of the
New moon, the Twilight series.
We're gonna guess full moon, Brian. It is new. It was new moon when the moon because we all know what a new moon is.
A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the sun and the Earth, causing the moon shadow on the Earth. A solar eclipse can only happen during a new moon. Yeah, that explains
that's
why.
a little more specific there. Yes, right. It has to be a new moon, not just a full moon.
Why?
See, a new moon is a full moon, isn't it?
I don't know.
A new moon is a full moon.
I don't know. I don't know.
Brian's trying to trick us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How often do solar eclipses occur? They have a set amount of time.
Good job, Noel. Yes, they do, and I do know this one. Do you have any guesses? A solar eclipse occurs about every 18 months, or between 1 to 3 years.
Okay.
Most often, it takes place over the ocean, or only goes over land partially, like the one last September here in Texas. Just went over a little smidge of Texas. So the answer to this one is 1 to 3 years. I'm certain.
Fabulous. Correct.
Yeah, so it happens a lot more often than you realize. It just usually isn't in the news unless it happens where you live, which is significant.
And often they're only visible from the Earth's poles or from the middle of the ocean,
Right.
like you said.
Or
Okay,
somewhere where
we're
no one
learning
would
so
normally
much.
be. Right.
Or I am.
Right.
Aaron already knew. What's the term for the path across the Earth's surface where a total solar eclipse is visible?
Now, this term we've used a lot today.
Shadow band.
That I probably had, and I probably used this term more in the last 4 or 5 months than I had before that combined.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we're talking about path of totality.
Right.
Not the big dark line.
Oh, that's funny.
Path of shadow could be right.
I
but
like
not technically,
them.
Yes, right.
I like the other terms.
Right. Which U.S. city? Oh, guess what? We also talked about this early because there's one particular state where we heard from some scouts earlier that were in the path of totality. Now, of course,
my husband went to college in Carbondale. And
oh, really?
He was in college when the
first eclipse came around.
So I know it was that was the
it has to be
totality
then, right? I was going to say, Cape Girardeau might be close to Bow. I don't know. Was Carbondale technically in the exact path, right? Because it's so close, right? But I think Illinois is the state that everybody. I think it's I think.
What about Kentucky? They're not. It's not that far.
It's also close. This is Brian trying to trick us again. I think it's Carbondale, Illinois.
Hey, I trust you.
Or wait a second, yeah, all of them.
That's what
Great
I think.
Point, Gina.
Well, just say which U.S. cities were. Can you do multiple select? That will tell us the answer. I think we know it's all of the above because you can't do multiple select.
Got it. Yep. It's got to be all the above.
That's just test
Most of our
strategy.
audience. Yes, good job. Our audience got that one right. They were ahead of the game on that one. Yes, good job. I think it was.
Thank you.
Those
Brian
cities
tried to trick
are
us.
close to Illinois. That was totally very, very tricky. Good question, Brian.
Good job. Yeah. How fast does the moon's shadow move across the Earth during a total solar eclipse? I think you know this one. I think you've been saying it.
Yep. It moves fast.
How fast?
Super fast. A lot faster than 55. I'll tell you that. It goes a lot faster than you would drive.
So that's not fast.
So it's definitely not 55 fast.
Okay.
Now it also 10,000 seems too fast to me. I'm almost positive it's more than 1,000. More than 1,000 because 500 is too slow.
It seems like it have to be more than 1,000 as quickly.
I mean, it goes away. It goes across the whole continent.
If you've been watching with us, we tracked
an hour.
it.
Yes, exactly. So it's got to be more than 1,000.
Okay, let's say it.
How much more than 1,000? Don't worry about it.
Only Brian knows.
More than 1,000.
That's correct.
Yes.
More than 1,000.
And it picks up speed as it goes. Faster than the speed of sound.
So if the sun was saying hi, well, it's not the sun, is it moving? Anyway, just move on. Which planet in the solar system does not have solar eclipses? Let's see. Wow, I didn't know any of them had them.
I didn't either.
It's the solar system.
Planet in the solar system does not have solar eclipses.
Okay, but behind the scenes, Peter makes a good point. It's the solar system. We do have the same sun.
Yes,
but they all have different moons.
But the moons, I thought that the Earth was unique because the moon
Jupiter
was
has moons
the right size and distance from the Earth. Right? Do all those planets have moons?
I don't know if Venus and Mars have moons. I think let's trust Mirabelle. Saturn.
We got a few different guesses, but Saturn has moons.
Different guesses.
Yeah, and that's why they would have eclipse.
Yeah, well, this is which one does not have an eclipse.
Oh.
See, pay attention. You can't miss the details. I think.
What is just the ring? What about the ring?
That doesn't affect anything. That's irrelevant.
Mars now I think Mars has moons. I take that one back. Venus.
I think it's Mars or Venus.
I think let's say Venus. Now I have no clue, and I want no responsibility.
I would say Mars. So go ahead and choose Venus, so we can. Yeah, it's good job, Gina. Very nice. Venus it is.
No, I was confident.
I would.
It can occur, a solar eclipse can occur on
Mercury would be
every
another one.
planet except for Mercury and Venus. They have no moons.
Very
They don't
nice.
have totals because the moon's not the right size.
Yes, okay, that's
Ah.
there's that distinction again, that word. Total eclipse. It's
None of them
different.
have totals?
Yes, because the moon's not the right size.
Yeah, behind the scene, Brian said they don't have total solar eclipses because their moons aren't the right size.
Right, right. That's what's one of the things unique about our planet is that the
How
moon is
lucky we
just the
are.
right size and just the right distance from the Earth compared to the sun. The sun obviously much bigger, but it's so much further away, they just match up perfectly.
Which fictional show or story does not feature an eclipse? I think The Simpsons does, because it covers a lot. I feel like a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court, that will be the whole impetus for how he got to the port. I'm just taking a guess that an eclipse transported him there. I feel ashamed that I don't know about Little Shop of Horrors having one or not. And I feel ashamed I don't know about Iron. I don't think Iron Man
I've
has
seen Iron Man
like the first
a few
one.
times. I don't remember a reference to an eclipse in it.
Not in the first one that I can recall.
The second one?
All I know is, yeah. I'm trying to think. He made it in a cave with a box of scraps.
I think it's Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
But it could also be something else.
I don't know why
I
an
got a lot of
eclipse would be
folks
a little
guessing.
short. I
Oh
think
wait,
it's Iron
I'm
Man.
sorry. Does not feature eclipse. I pulled a G and I read it backwards.
Yeah.
Yes, does not
it's Iron
feature
Man.
eclipse. It's Iron Man. Yes, you're right. It's Iron Man. Most people are guessing Iron Man, and I think they're right.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. I would say.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's
Did not occur in Iron Man. Which state will not be in the path of totality? This is today.
Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be Florida. Good job, Gina.
Thank you.
All right, that's not bad.
What did we miss? I forgot.
That's not bad. We missed the one about the eclipse. We missed the. I don't remember.
Which one did we miss?
We did good though. 9 out of 10. I mean, come on.
Oh, full moon. That's what we missed.
Oh, full moon versus new moon. Yes, I still think that's a trick question because the new moon is a full moon.
What is a new moon?
It's the first moon. You're the Twilight fan.
It's the
New
second
moon
book.
is when there's no moon visible, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
New moon
Brian
is
just
when
tried to
there's-
explain it. I still don't
Wait,
understand.
there's
it.
no moon visible?
Because the sun isn't shining.
So it's the opposite of a full
Because
moon.
the Earth is blocking the sun. It's the opposite of a full moon.
So tonight there'll be no moon.
Right.
Tonight there'll
Yeah,
be no
tonight
moon,
there'll be
folks.
no moon. Yes, that's right.
This just in.
It burned up in the eclipse today. Yeah.
Whoever's taller thought they were
Darla
seeing
does.
the moon. Yeah. Oh
Is
yeah,
Darla
Darla got
planet?
it. Darla
Yes,
got it
thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank you. New
All-
moon.
Yeah, very
Good
interesting.
job,
We
guys.
definitely learned.
Readers are not surprising. The viewers are smarter than us, Gina.
We have a few exciting things to do. We are almost done for the day. Thank you if you've been watching along with us, but this is going to be a worthwhile portion of the show to stay tuned in for. You have been commenting for a chance to win a number of things. First thing we're going to give away is a bug net. Now, reminder, this is a pop-up screen tent with a tarp floor. It's a freestanding bug net that pops open instantly into shape to provide a safe refuge. Simply slide off the elastic strap and toss it up in the air away from you like that, and it just pops into place. It's from Sandsbug. It's pretty cool. Thanks, Sandsbug, for making this happen for us. Okay, I'm using my fancy comment picker, and
As Gina's picking out the comments, good timing for this bug tent. Summer camp season is upon us. It will be here before you know it. And there's a good photo there in that inset you can see of a bug tent set up in what looks to me like a scout summer camp. That's a very traditional scout summer tent camp there. Gina.
this is somebody who's been watching along all day, so I'm glad that this
Yes,
worked
me
out.
too. I recognize the name.
Yes, Heather Goebel, you will get a bug tent.
Good
We're
job.
Very excited for you.
Heather looked like she wished good luck to us, to everybody who was watching,
been
not even knowing she'd be the one that won. Good job, Heather.
We have a hammock. We have 2 hammocks, actually 3 hammocks to give away, another bug net, a shirt, and a patch. So keep commenting.
You might be thinking, well, the eclipse is over. There's no reason to keep watching.
There
Not if you want to win prizes. I mean,
There is.
if you don't care about winning prizes, sure, yeah.
I want to do one more quick social check-in just to remind you all to keep using that hashtag Scout the Eclipse. As I'm seeing those posts, I'm adding them to our Instagram story. In fact, wait 1 second, Aaron. Let me make sure I add some more. Aaron, do you have any more trivia for us?
Well, actually, yeah, I do have some trivia. Actually, believe it or not, Gina. We were talking earlier trying to figure out exactly where this eclipse began. And as with most eclipses, it began over the ocean. The eclipse today, the one that we all watch today, actually began in the, hang on, I've got it right here. It actually started, Gina, in the Pacific Ocean. So we talked about the first people to see it were in Texas, but it really, I'm sorry, in Mexico. The first Boy Scouts of America members to see it were in Texas. Unless there was maybe somebody, I don't know, I wonder if people go out in boats, you can go out in the ocean, you could have been the first person to see it in the world. If you're in the Pacific Ocean, as you can see from the path right there, it goes all the way across the United States. And it technically, Gina, doesn't end until it gets to the Atlantic Ocean. So although folks right now, the eclipse has left North America, it's actually not over yet. It's still going on the Atlantic Ocean. All the fishes in the deep blue sea right now, if they look up, they can see the eclipse. It's still happening.
I'm thinking of some of the, wow, we have quite an esteemed guest on the other side.
Oh my gosh, we sure
camera
do, yes.
right now.
We've got to get that guy on camera.
Yes, you guys would not want to miss who's on the other side there. You want to come say hello?
I gotta give up my seat for this.
No, I'll give it up.
No. We are about to be joined by maybe one of the most prestigious guests. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Erie.
That was good. Good. Have a seat.
Good to see you.
This is Roger Crone, my old pal.
Here we
He
are.
is the president, CEO of the Boy Scouts of America.
Look at
It is an
that.
honor to have him here. Thank you for joining us, sir.
No, it's great.
Did you see the eclipse
It's great.
today?
Well, I saw, like the spooks and dragons and Dracula
Exactly.
and, the sun worshippers all come out,
We talked about that, how
I-
scary it would have been if you didn't know what was going to happen, right?
It was great. It was quick. I was surprised.
They did go by pretty quick.
Yeah,
Yes.
I kind of thought it would hang around a while, but it got really, really dark for about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
it got really light.
Yes,
But it was great.
Yeah, so that's so cool. Thanks so much for stopping by. We were just talking about the length of the eclipse. It was actually longer in Mexico. They got to see it longer. Here in Texas, it wasn't quite as long. We visited earlier with some scouts in Maine, Roger, who just got it for just a couple of
did they
minutes.
already get
Yes,
it?
they've already gotten
Yeah,
it.
but it's
Yes,
quick.
It's already moved on. So what brings you in? You doing some day-to-day work today in the office?
Oh,
today?
yeah, I'm just in and out traveling. We've got a couple trips. This week we're going to Richmond. The Richmond Council is honoring Ricky Mason. So we're going to be there for a dinner at the convention center. Just lots of things going on. We're getting ready for NAMM.
Yeah,
So that is
I was
the-
actually going to just
the
going to
real
ask you
buzz.
about that.
So
Yeah, exactly.
we're very, very excited. We just locked in our keynote speaker. Not going to give that away, but
We're
it's
not
gonna be
ready to.
somebody-
You don't want to
Very-
announce it right
no,
now.
no,
Okay.
no, I'm not going to
Thought
announce it
maybe
right
we
now.
had a scoop for you guys.
But it is will be really, really exciting, and it's tied in with a 5-year anniversary. So we'll let people figure it out from there.
That's awesome. Awesome. Being joined live here by the president and CEO of the Boy Scouts of America, Roger Crone. It's Gina and I took most of this day talking about the eclipse. Right, it's business as usual for the most part for Roger. You've been on the job now for
Almost 6. Well, I'm in my 6th month.
In your 6 months, how's it going so far?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Scouting is great. The volunteers are great. We've done really great registration for the high adventure bases, so they look almost full this summer. We've got signing up for 25. So if you haven't signed up for your crew, your trek, you need to do that before they all fill up. And we've got some new things coming that I'm not sure I want to announce on this, but some things out of supply. So, which will be hitting our stores in the next couple of weeks. So,
Awesome.
If you're going to be near a scout shop by the end of April, you might go in and ask your scout shop retailer, "Hey, the Crone said there's something new here. I wonder what it is." So,
The folks at home are super excited to see you. What you all don't know on the other side of the screen is we just caught Roger walking into
He
the
was
office.
literally
He's in the
going to
middle of
work.
He doesn't
Yeah,
even
he's
know
got-
what he's on
he's
right
got
now.
work to do, guys.
Like, he doesn't know what this live stream is.
I'm in
He's our
between
quick live stream. So thank you so
hey,
much, Roger.
yeah, one other thing I would mention is that I'm headed over to Normandy in 2 weeks for the Camporee with the
What a cool
Transatlantic
event
Council.
that is. Yeah.
It is fantastic. We'll be there for 4 days. We're gonna be out there with all the scouts from Transatlantic, and this is their big deal where they get together. They actually get to camp at Normandy and celebrate the landing, the Ally landing on the beaches there at Normandy. And
What a cool event.
I'm going to be there with Scott Sorrells, and It's going to be terrific. We're going to have a great time. I have actually never done that.
I haven't either.
So I've been to England, I've been to Paris, I've been all over the Netherlands, but I've never been to Normandy, and I understand it is quite a moving experience.
That will be awesome.
So maybe we'll be able to do something.
Yes. Give us a call.
A little blurb
have
on
you
that
on.
after we come back. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Roger, thanks so much for joining us. Hey, before we let you go, we mentioned the national annual meeting. This is kind of the first real national annual meeting post bankruptcy. I wonder if maybe you send a message to our viewers. How we doing, Boy Scouts of America?
Hey, we're doing great. Actually, membership is up year over year a little bit. Always wish it was up more. The Cub Scout program has really been growing. We're excited about the new rollout of the Cub program, which really hits the streets towards the end of this month. We've got the new manuals and everything associated with that, all of the teaching material. But this is such an opportunity for us really to move forward. The bankruptcy, reconciling with our past, acknowledging what happened in scouting and in a way we negatively affected so many lives. But here's a chance to learn from that and to go forward and to make a difference for the youth in America. And in my view, the youth in America never needed scouting more. So I'm really pumped about what's going on here, what you all are doing. Like I said, we've got some things, both short-term and long-term, that are going to continue to move the programs and movement forward. And it'll be an exciting place to be, an exciting organization to be part of.
That is awesome. We almost got some scoop from him, guys, but not quite. You'll have to stay tuned
It was a
in the future. Yes, yes. Hey, Roger, thanks so much, man. It's good to see you.
Nice
Thanks
to see
for
you.
joining us.
All right,
Appreciate
great.
it.
You're welcome.
Man, what a pleasant surprise there, joined live by the president and CEO of the Boy Scouts of America. He's just going to the office.
That's
No
so
big deal. It's just
funny.
another day of work. That was really, really cool. What a nice guy.
I know. I really appreciate how game he was to just jump on
Yes.
here and not afraid.
You didn't have to do that.
Transparent guys.
Yes,
We appreciate that.
Exactly. Yes, that was a great little update. Gina, where were we?
We're
we were
going to
talking
talk
about the
social.
eclipse, but yes.
Yeah. Back to what's happening around the country. That's what's happening here at the BSA National Office. Check out this guy viewing the eclipse. He's
Looks like
just shocked.
He's doing
Look
it
at
the
his
right
shirt.
way. He's got the shirt on, which is step number one. Well, probably step two. Step one is have the glasses on.
Yes.
He did that for sure. Very, very cool.
Yep. Okay, let's see what else is up here. I'm adding everything you tag hashtag scout the eclipse here. I think that might be the same guy.
It looks
Good
like
look at a soccer field.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like it's still pretty much daylight there, where that must have been early. That's a cool little progression of photos there.
Stages of the eclipse. I think this is some people they're
Watching
at work.
the live feed from Scout Life magazine. It said
They
watching
were
our
at work.
feed. Yes,
Yes, that's absolutely right. Okay, Aaron, you know what time it is? It's time.
It's about 3:30 Central Time.
Well, that means we're 2 minutes late for a hammock giveaway.
Oh my gosh! It's time to give away a hammock. And you mentioned earlier, Gina, this is a BSA single person hammock. It comes with the straps. You don't have to get the straps separately. Is it true that you can buy a hammock without straps? Is that true?
It is true. Very
Yeah, I
often
didn't
you
even
buy
realize
both the
that.
hammock
Okay.
and the strap separately. This all comes together, which I've always appreciated about this BSA hammock.
Yes, this is courtesy of our friends at Scout Shop. Gina, have you selected a winner?
I am moments
She's
away.
moments away from selecting a winner. Hammock camping or hammock sleeping, increasingly popular. I feel like a lot of folks are doing it. By the way, we've got some BSA guidelines on that, how to do that safety and things like that. But a great alternative for some folks who don't want to sleep on the ground.
I totally agree. I think that I'm just feeling like we should give 2 away.
Gina is feeling kind today, folks. She's going to give away not 1, but 2 BSA single person hammocks with straps, courtesy of our friends at Scout Shop. Are we ready to say the names, Gina?
Yes, we're going to give away a hammock to both Jasper Oswald and Sumi RZ. Keep your eyes
Good
on your
job.
inbox. We'll get your address. We'll ship it your way. If for some reason you're not seeing the message, feel free to message our account wherever you're watching this, and we'll make sure we get it your way.
Very, very cool. You guys, hopefully some restful nights outdoors. I know hammock sleeping, one of the things that's most appealing to me is on a warm night, how you got some air underneath the hammock, right? So keep you nice and cool if it's not too cold already.
Sumi, before she knew she won one, I think, said we only use hammocks on the
There
island.
you go, Sumi.
Sumi,
You just got a new one.
Oh, you got to answer a question. I'm sorry if you already have. What island? Tell me. Tell us that first.
Yeah,
and if it's
and
Hawaii,
yes, exactly. We need
what's
to
the
know
eclipse situation
what
there?
if you saw it today. I'm going to say nothing.
I don't have
Why?
I would never presume to know. Never. If you're feeling very like you could take on a lot of eclipse trivia, we just took a really awesome quiz.
That's
Is
always
it on
available.
ScoutLife.org? Is that Eclipse? Okay, it's not on the Eclipse. It's not on ScoutLife.org. It's an exclusive, a
what?
live stream exclusive.
Rewind, go back a little bit, watch it again. Gina and I
You
got
have to
9
watch.
out of 10. The one we missed, I'm going to file a protest. I'm not 100% that we actually missed it. But that's fine.
You know what's wild is in 2017, I think it was one of the first of these very long live streams we used to do. And
Yep.
I was lucky to be a part of planning that live stream in some ways, like getting, footage or different drawings and things from scouts around the country, maybe some interviews with scouts, but I had nothing to do with planning it from the larger scale. Our behind the scenes, Brian, was part of that. And I got to come on the show a little bit, but Aaron spent a lot more time on the show. And I think
My role on that show was very similar to the role on this show, in that I just showed up when I was told to show up and said what I was supposed to say. But it is sort of funny to go back and watch this from 2017 when an eclipse passed by. As we said, Gina, we really weren't that close to totality like we thought we, in our memories, maybe we thought we were. But it's funny, there is one clip of that I want to play real quick, in which we mention today in that show from 7 years ago. Maybe we could roll that
it
real
felt
quick.
so far in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting how, people got really excited, I think, this weekend, but we've known about this for decades subsequently, millennia.
Exactly. So they're able to predict because of science, right? Essentially, they've been tracking the sun and the moon.
So you can hear us talking. Let's just be able to quiet.
It's very quiet.
How we know. Oh, do we? Okay. Thanks. If you see him,
And who pulled and edited this very quiet clip?
I did. Whoever did it probably didn't know it was going to be used on the broadcast.
Well, we're seeing you.
Yes, that's me on the end there. I look the same.
You look similar.
Person in the middle is the founder of the blog that we still use today. Brian on
I think
Scouting.
what you're talking about is, will my eclipse glasses work in the future in 2024? Should I use them? And honestly, the answer is no. You should not. And after you've used them to look at the sun, you've already damaged them. So toss them. Don't use them again.
I think the exception to that would be
welding
if you kept them somewhere in a pristine location, covered, where they could not be damaged. Mine were shoved into a desk drawer for the last 7 years. I actually pulled them out and found them. Didn't use them because, it's been sitting in a drawer for 7 years. Who knows how much it's been juggled around. These, quite frankly, it's kind of cheap. This material here, it's not fancy. And it's really, really easy to damage these. I could go home right now and throw these in a drawer. Could I take them out in 2000? Yeah, exactly.
Put them in a scrapbook, maybe.
Could I take them out in 2044 and use them again? I mean, technically, maybe, but the chances of them being
no. The
in
answer is a
pristine
resounding no.
condition-
Aaron's just talking off of what he thinks. The material degrades, I believe, and they say not to reuse them. And if you've looked at the sun, you've damaged the lenses to some extent. They're not in full working capacity anymore, is my understanding.
I think we should leave a comment real quick
NASA?
for our successors.
NASA chime in.
There's going to be an eclipse on August 12th, 2045. So here's a note to future Aaron and Gina, sending a message to Aaron and Gina in 21 years, don't wear the sunglasses.
Or let us know
just get new
somehow.
ones.
We'll pull this clip, and
We'll pull this clip and
I'll
play it
pull this
again.
clip. I'll make sure the audio is real loud, and then we'll figure it out.
My hair will still be this color.
Sure, mine too. To recap, Sumi said she's in Puerto Rico. Did you see the eclipse there?
Okay,
That's
Puerto Rico
interesting.
might have
We
gotten
didn't think
a
about
decent
that.
view. Yeah. Puerto Rico,
Jeremy asked where we are geographically. We are in the Dallas, Texas area, specifically Irving, Texas. So we're here at the BSA National Headquarters. We were in the path of totality. We saw the whole shebang. I feel really cool
Yep.
for
By the
having
way,
been here.
Jeremy, you can always, when this video is over, you can
can see
go
what we
back
saw.
and go back and see what we saw. Yeah, exactly.
That's absolutely true.
Yep.
We are wrapping up today's show. A few more giveaways coming up. First thing, before we say our goodbyes and do our giveaways, I'd like to overview the emblem and talk about and recap how we really have been through all of the steps that are required to snag that emblem today.
Yeah, and you might be thinking, well, the eclipse is over. It's too late for us to do the emblem. It's actually not. You can do it whenever you want to. Probably want to do it somewhat quickly because, your Cub Scouts, especially your younger ones, will have moved on from this event fairly quickly. But Number one, locate a site suitable for viewing the eclipse. We had a nice list going: state
Thanks
park,
to you all.
national park, local park, school park,
Anywhere.
any kind of park, any kind of yard, front or backyard,
Mhm.
any kind of front or back of a building. We're in the front of a BSA building right now. Back would have worked fine though. We just decided because we liked it.
There's one thing we didn't really touch on is if you live in a city with skyscrapers, like if you're in the heart of New York City, you might need to locate a place where you can make sure you have like a skyline view of some kind, or at least to make sure that the little gap between the buildings that
Yeah.
you're going to be seeing is actually where the eclipse is going to happen.
The eclipse was pretty high, but it wasn't like perfectly straight up and down. There was at a little bit of an angle.
If we had the Empire State
if we
Building
were
right
ne-
here,
next to a
I don't think
building,
we would've
yes, if we were next to a giant building right here, that would not have worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, next up, we did this throughout the show, and it's really important to recap this because some of your younger scouts' instinct is not to think about this, but describing how to safely view the eclipse. That's one way. And then another way is a handy dandy pinhole viewer or eclipse viewer box. We made one out of a cereal box. And we have several tutorials if you just want to start practicing for 2044. There you go. There'll be partial eclipse before then. You can use these.
Will this box still work in 2040?
Yes, it will.
There you go.
As long as roaches don't swarm your pantry.
The third item to earn the BSA solar eclipse patch, China. See the CH, I thought it said path. It's cut off. Discuss with your group what you saw and felt during the eclipse. I think we felt kind of like amazement and wonder, not to mention
Excitement.
slightly cooler.
Yes.
And little goosebumps, right? All that kind of stuff is very cool.
Yeah. And then next up, different ages are asked to do the following, discussing what a solar eclipse is, drawing what a solar eclipse is, or something Aaron and I will probably go to 2044 not understanding Sir Arthur Eddington's 1919 experiments.
My goal, Gina, is by 2044 to be able to fill that one in. So everybody, you're going to have to tune in 2044. Wait,
Every
44
time
or
I see that,
45?
I think I got to figure out what that
45.
means. And every
Tune in,
time,
and
I
on
forget.
August 12th, and we will explain it.
I think behind the scenes, Brian is looking for an answer to that.
Somebody may have
for us.
answered in the comments earlier.
You want to
yes.
Google it here while we're live?
Sure, yeah.
You got your phone.
I'll do it. Yeah, you go. Yeah, read the next one. I'll
No,
Google it. Yeah.
no. Take your time.
We're
So, guys,
actually doing it
we
right now.
are researching what Sir Arthur Eddington's 1990 experiment was and how it confirmed Einstein's theory of general relativity. I do feel like Venturers got the harder task here.
Did they ever?
And not to say that drawing a diagram isn't maybe, I guess, more time intensive potentially. They could have just kind of Googled this, I guess, like we're doing right now.
Well, I've got an answer
so
that's
does
going to
Christine.
explain. Oh, yeah, very nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Christine has nailed it. It's an experiment that it was an observational test of relativity. I don't know why Eddington gets all the credit because everybody knows that Frank Watson Dyson was also involved, which is weird that we only remember Eddington. Everybody knows.
Everybody
remembers Arthur Eddington. No one ever talks about Frank Watson Dyson anymore,
right.
which is too bad.
Right.
It happened in. Do you know what year it was?
1919.
1919. Very good. And they were observing a total solar eclipse, which happened in May of 2019. Guess what? Do you want to guess? So most eclipses occur over the ocean. Guess where they had to go to observe this one?
A ship.
Exactly. Had to be in a ship. Yes. Actually, two different expeditions. One to the West African island of Príncipe and the other one to the Brazilian town of Sobral. And they observed the eclipse. And they measured, obviously, everybody knows the gravitational deflection of starlight passing near the sun. And by doing that, they basically said, yeah, I guess Einstein was right.
Wow. Okay.
Have I explained it?
I think so.
It couldn't be more simple or clear than that.
Basically, they confirmed something Einstein thought, but
Yes. Einstein had predicted this was true in 8 years earlier. He had predicted this. And they actually improved on his prediction. It's coming back to me now. They improved on his prediction after finalizing their theory and obtaining the solution to his equations. Again, someone else who gets often forgotten is Carl Schwarzschild, which is weird that we don't ever mention him.
I do forget about him sometimes.
But anyway, yeah, that's how it all worked.
I honestly am still fully
Sumi
confused.
gets it.
I know everyone gets it, but I have some research to do. I'm sure there's some really fun things I could do to learn a little more about that. And then the last step of earning the eclipse emblem.
This part is a lot easier than the last part.
It's easier, and you can flex this to what you need. You want to ask your unit leader to buy the 2024 solar eclipse emblem. They should be able to do that for
Yep.
you. If they can't,
And
you can order it yourself.
I was going to say, yeah, if that doesn't work out, you with a or an adult can go online and buy it from the scoutshop.org. It doesn't have to be your unit leader. There's no paperwork that needs to be filled out. It might just be easier if you're doing it as a group to have the unit leader place one order for 5 or 10 emblems or whatever it is.
And if you are Andrea Parham, you just won one. So you
don't have to cancel your order.
Yeah.
Andrea, cancel your
Or
order
get a
because
couple.
we're going to ship one for you, unless you need an extra one. Just do that. Sure.
Okay. We just gave one Eclipse patch away. No big deal.
Nice. Congratulations to Andrea.
Shall we give a couple of other things away?
I think we shall. Stephanie asks how long will the patches be available. Yeah, that's tricky because there's a lot of demand for these. So unfortunately, I don't know for sure. Probably get it sooner rather than later, right? It's tricky, Stephanie. I don't know how long are they going to be available. A lot of people are excited about the Eclipse. Might want to order it sooner if you can.
I think so, because I'm sure they're not going to make more now that the Eclipse.
Right. They're probably not going to. Once it goes out of stock this time, that might be it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Kelly Wilson, no big deal. You just won our last t-shirt.
Congratulations to Kelly. Very, very nice. Good job. Great t-shirt that you can always wear. I suggest you wear it at a scouting event. People are going to say, oh, what's that shirt from? Well, we watched Aaron and Gina. We watched the Eclipse with Aaron and Gina and won it.
Yeah, pretty cool. And then I am going to give away I can't even take any credit.
Thank you, Gina.
Sans Bugs giving this one away,
All
not
about
me.
her.
This one is going to someone who also has been commenting along with today's show. I'm glad that this worked out. No, right.
Good job,
We're getting
Noel.
a Sans Bug one person pop up screen
Congratulations.
tent.
Yes.
No bugs.
Gina, you have a lot of things to mail out. I'm looking at your list here. You've given out a lot of prizes today.
Yes, if you want a prize, make sure you're going to get a message from us to email your email address to email your mailing address to us, and then we'll ship your prize.
Send a piece of mail with your email address on it, so then we can email you to get your mailing address. I think it's
Just keep checking your inbox. If you don't get a message before Wednesday, you can message us, and we'll make sure we get you hooked up with your prize. This was a great day. What's your favorite part?
Gina, this has been the fastest 4 hours.
Really wasn't.
3 hours and 45 minutes of my life. Yes, it was fun. I mean, the favorite part, I mean, on a personal level, that's a great photo there. Yes, that's great. On a personal level, the favorite part for me, obviously, was seeing the eclipse here. But I think really for the show, the best part was checking in. It was so cool to see the reactions of the young men and women who were seeing the eclipse live. Special thanks to all of our friends at those scout camps and troop leaders across the country who agreed to come on with us for a few minutes during, one of the most exciting moments of the year for them, right? That was really, really cool. I was kind of nervous about asking them to do that because we were asking them to, a little bit of sacrifice to make sure they had their cameras working. But I thought it was really cool how they forgot we were there and freaked out about the eclipse.
They got so
exactly what
excited
we
in
wanted
key
to see.
moments.
It was very cool. What about you, Gina?
Oh, I liked.
Look at that cute one right there.
I really like seeing the social posts and comments, or in the comments on our live feed. I like just kind of seeing the reaction around the country. I like seeing people who appreciate being able to see our sun cam. Actually, our sun cam's also up there for me.
Yes, shout out to Michael, our photographer, who did a great job with that. It was a really fun day. Thank you guys for watching along. That was great. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe learned a little thing or two about the eclipse. Mostly, I hope you enjoyed, watching with your community, our online community. A lot of comments today. Really appreciate everybody weighing in. That was really nice to hear from everybody, and really cool that you guys watched it with us.
Thanks for being here. We love to get to do these, and you watching them ensures that we get to keep doing them. Have we got everything?
Yeah. Do we need to, let's just thank everybody one more time behind the scenes. Brian did a great job. Special thanks to Peter, who helped us out also. Michael Roytek, who helped us out. Thanks to BSA Tech Support here in the office. There's wires that you guys can't see to make sure that we have internet here. Mostly thank you to Gina for planning this whole thing. She did a great job. It was an honor being on here with you, young woman. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you all for watching so much. Of course, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks mostly to our viewers. We appreciate it so much.
And I'm our camps that let us come in and video you while you were watching an eclipse. So thank you.
Everybody did great. This was super fun, guys. Gina, we'll see you in about 21 years. We're going to do all this again.
Yep, sounds good.
Yes. Thank you all for watching. Bye, everybody.